Life 5 Arise. Issei woke up and looked around and saw Riaz in the bed next to him. He got out of bed and started stretching and then did a few push-ups and sit-ups. He then went to shower and freshen up for the day. He gently woke up Riaz and she smiled when she saw him. Riaz half asleep morning. Issei morning come on, it's time to get up. She nodded and then he left to see his master. He found Grafia first and saw her doing some light cleaning. Issei, see, this isn't so bad, is it? Grafia, don't tempt me, I'm already fighting back a lot, just doing the bare minimum. Issei, I have a question, come with me. She nodded and walked with him. Issei, how does devil pregnancy work since you live so long? Is it longer than 9 months or is it on a different time scale for you? Grafia, it's around a month or 2 for the full development of the child. Then it takes the normal 8 months for them to grow up instead of like 2 or 3 years. The first 8 months they cannot be without a mother or father for long since they need magic from either mother or father. Stay healthy on top of actual paternal and maternal reasons, or they will die. So when he or she is born, I need to be as on the ball as I am with everything else and watch over them till they are strong enough to be left alone like it. Round 12 months then I'll be able to leave them with you, for example, and nothing bad will come of it. Issei, I see, that's interesting. I'll be there to help you out when you need it, just call me, I'll keep them close and let you do your thing. Grafia, you already are helping this family a lot by helping Riaz. Sirzechs told me about your plan. I must say it seems like it works out well. Issei, where is he anyway? I thought that he would be dotting on you to make sure you're not doing anything. Grafia, he's in a meeting with the other devil kings. Issei, you mentioned that before, other devil kings, so there's more than one. Grafia, yes, that is correct. So when do you plan on leaving to go to the vacation home for training? Issei, whenever Riaz is ready, I'm packed already. D-Drag is holding all the things I'm going to need. Grafia, well, I hope you enjoy it because even you need a break sometimes, you know, even if you are assisting them do your own training so you get something out of it as well and you don't fall behind. Issei, please, I'm just getting started. I can do so much more in time. Right now is just a change of pace for me, then I'll be able to protect myself and those I care about. He smiled at her and she gave a soft smile back. Grafia, mother was right, you do bring hope, I see it. Issei, then I promise to keep things that way for as long as I can. He sat down and made Grafia lay down and she rested her head on his lap. Issei, now I know I'm going to be gone for 2 weeks, but please do it for me and Sirzechs to not overstrain yourself. She started rubbing her head to help her relax and be at peace for a bit. Grafia, I know, and I promise to take things easy, light work. The helpers around the house can always handle the heavy stuff. Issei, see, now you're thinking, but if you feel tired, please just take a seat and rest every now and again. Grafia, Issei, now I want you to relax for the rest of the day. Grafia. She slowly started to fall asleep, and he gently moved himself and then put a blanket over her and made one of the servants around the house to watch her for him, and they agreed. When he was done with that, he saw Riaz and her peerage busy talking. She stood in front of them explaining what they were going to be doing and working on. Issei hid his signature and then walked behind Riaz and just stood there while the others could only watch, but it was shown on their faces that they were looking at someone. Riaz, we can't make him help us with all our training, so we need to take a stand for... She noticed that they were looking at someone behind her. She slowly turned around and saw Issei standing behind her with a straight face. Riaz, oh Issei, you're here, good, let go everyone. He watched Kiba and Kaneko take some pretty large bags and then put them on their backs, then a large magic circle to them to the base of a mountain. Issei, so mind telling me where we are? He looked around and saw a lot of trees and could smell the ocean. Not far away, his hearing picked up on a large bear and some other wild animals around them. Riaz, we at the Grummery vacation home. Issei, and let me guess, it's a hike up. She nodded. Issei, lead the way. They started walking, making small talk. Issei, so what do you plan to do when it comes to attacks when your main fighters are the rook and knight? Your queen may have more power to work around, but the other two can only do so much. Riaz, I want Kiba to work on speed and accuracy so he can move fast and be able to take out more pawns at once, then Kaneko to be his back support in the fight, then Akino to handle the opposing queen, and I'll handle Riser. Issei, doesn't it work like actual chess, like the kings can't fight? Riaz, no, the kings can attack as well. Issei, I see. He was thinking about when he will have his own peerage if he gets it, and how he would plan his attacks. Akino, hey Issei, how strong are you really? Issei, I managed to land about 6 hits on Sirzechs before he sent me into the ground. Kiba, incredible, I've seen people who try and touch him and don't get close. Issei, I'm getting better. Yesterday after I took Ria's home, I managed to unlock something which is what I'm going to work on while you all take a break. Ria's, what did you unlock? Issei, you'll see. Kaneko, when did you get so mysterious? Issei, I don't know, it just kind of started happening and I spend most of the day talking to the dragon in my head. Akino, what do you talk about if you don't mind us knowing? Issei, stuff about the other dragon, way to break the other dragon, ways to not look stupid, this to be noticeable if he's been helping me with my magic training, and I seem to be progressing fast enough because I'm going through some old memories of previous hosts that D-Drake had and I'm practicing the way they fought. Riaz, that muscle memory seems to be working wonders for you, isn't it? Issei, it's starting to get to me like I'm beginning to see patterns in almost everything and it is irritating me. I want to be surprised. Riaz, but isn't that a good thing? Issei, dragon logic you wouldn't understand. Akino, perhaps you want a strong opponent to make things difficult because you're not really struggling anymore. Issei, kind of, but I want to fight with someone so strong I nearly die. Smiles. They all looked at him like he was crazy, and his smile wasn't something they pictured as well. Kaneko, so you want to be hurt? Issei, yes, not even Ria's power seems to hurt me anymore. Riaz, what, how? I've never fought against you. Issei, back when you attacked me, I tanked on your full attack and recovered within seconds, so start putting 2 and 2 together. If we actually had to fight, I'll take you out in seconds. Riaz, then can we try? Issei, no, relax first because you purposely going to push yourself and someone is going to get hurt if you overdo it. Kiba, dang, he told you, President. Riaz, light blush, keep quiet, Kiba. They all chuckled, then they slowly reached the house. Issei wasn't fazed by it that much. Issei, smaller than the house in the underworld. Riaz, yes, this is more for just a change of pace when we need it. Issei, alright, you guys get started with whatever, I'm going to go and set up. He started walking to the forest, leaving the others confused by his action again. Kiba, dude, where are you going? The house is over here. Issei, setting up camp, I'm roughing it to help with instincts, see you in an hour or 2. He waved to them without looking and he disappeared into the forest, leaving them at the house. He walked for a bit and found an open spot in the trees. Issei, how here's good. He started picking up branches and then once he had enough, he started building a shelter. Once that was done, he covered it with a tarp and then covered it with mud, then more dead branches. Once his shelter was made, he picked up more dead branches. He then made a small fireplace for himself and then lit his hand on fire. Flashback. D-Drag boost. Issei had reached his 8th boost, then ran to Sirzechs and managed to hit him with a 3-impact spin kick. Then was blasted back into a wall. He pulled himself out of the wall and he slowly started to burn off some embers. His hands started to heat up and his hands caught a light. Then he ran again and managed to land a single hit into Sirzechs' chest, blasting him down a bit, but that was it. Issei fell to his knees out of breath and tired. Sirzechs, what was that? Issei, I got so angry that I all felt was heat and I pushed it out of my body and that happened. Sirzechs, well done. I think that's it for the day. Tomorrow when you leave, I want you to try and use it more to see if you can find some more uses for it in a fight or just for some fun. Issei, tired, you got it, man. In flashback. D-Drake, who would have thought you would pick up on my fire? Issei, who would have thought I would be like this? D-Drake, fair enough. Issei, anyways, how do you want to do this, primal, tribal, or normal? D-Drake, let go tribal and see if you can survive the night with the least amount of clothing. Issei, alright, then let's do this. He took off his shirt and shoes and was left with some shorts, and that was it. A cold breeze washed over him and he felt the chill run up his spine. He took a deep breath and then shook it off. Issei, it's going to be a cold night, let's get some food and a good water source. He saw a few animals and then he chased them down and killed them and brought them back to the dead animals in the camp and put them into the fire pit and left it there. Then some predators were drawn to the blood of the animals. He caught a few wolves, came and he killed them so quickly and gut them and skinned them and started using the fur to cover a few portions of his body. He used the wolf head to make a hood out of it and he was done. He looked and saw some plants with large leaves and then he picked them up and made a rain catcher for himself. Once it was stable, he walked back to the house and saw them getting ready to start, but him being covered in blood and mud and animal skins made it look like he's been there for months. Issei, I see you ready to get going. Riaz, what the hell, it's only been 2 hours since we last saw you. Issei and I made a shelter, got food, and made a rain catcher. Kiba, why are you roughing it that badly? Issei, survival skills, but besides me it's time to start working, guys, no slacking. He and Kiba started together with sword practice. They moved in sync, moving the same in their movements, and even the way their bodies moved, not just how their swords moved. Issei started to add his own movements, which made Kiba confused, but then seeing a few of the movements, he saw a way he can deal damage to his opponents. After that, he was with Kaneko, and they were either lifting weights or fighting in different styles such as boxing and a bit of jiu-jitsu, and then moving on to sparring matches that ended with Issei winning. He then found himself with Riaz and Akino casting their magic. He showed them his dragon shot and how to condense it and shoot it. While he was showing Akino a few different ways to shoot her lighting, Riaz couldn't stop watching him. Riaz, he's so on the ball with everything, and if things go well then we may be able to actually win this. She was watching him work and she couldn't stop admiring him the whole day. By the end of the day they were all tired, including Issei. Kiba, tired? You cheat, you have the boosted gear. Issei, tired, I didn't use it the whole day. Kaneko, tried, crazy people. Riaz, tired, let's go in bath, we can eat after. They all got up while Issei crawled to his camp. Kiba, I don't think he is eating with us. Riaz, well, it's his choice. They finished and ate dinner and saw it started raining and thundering outside. It almost looked like a monsoon outside. Riaz, you think he's okay? It's getting very bad outside. Kiba, I think he wanted it this way, I'm sure he's alright. Akino, only tomorrow we will see how he is. They went asleep after dinner to be ready for the next day. Riaz looked out the window and saw a red light in the forest not too far from the house. Riaz, well, hopefully he's alright. With Issei. Issei was sitting inside his tent and not really feeling the cold. Issei, deep breath, this good for regulation of the fire. Drag, yes, you should have some decent control afterwards. Issei, well, it's keeping me warm. He went to sleep that night actually feeling calm and not full of stress. He woke up the next morning and looked around and found himself looking fairly okay. He walked to the beach, the water was bright blue, and the sand looked almost pure white. He then went for a swim to get the mud and blood off him from the previous night. He looked at the sky, and it was a beautiful day. He took off the fur and then burnt it to a crisp on the beach. He then took a deep breath and started collecting fish for breakfast. Once he was done fishing and caught some fish, once he was done, he put on a shirt and some shoes. Then he was in a different set for him to control his power. He was feeling better with it. And as he went to the house, he entered and found them getting ready for breakfast. Issei, hey guys, I got breakfast, fresh fish, asterisk, smiling, asterisk. They all looked at him, then at the clock, then back at him. Riaz, tired, how long have you been up? It's only 6 a.m. Issei, I think 5, I think I went to the beach, then went spearfishing. Akino, the beach is almost 20 minutes away, by car. Issei, how well, I didn't use magic, oh well, here's fish. He covered his hands in scales and started descaling the fish and got it prepped for eating. Issei, I may not know how I landed at the beach, but it didn't take me long. They sat down and watched him cook for them. Riaz, so today I see you more dressed than yesterday. Issei, yup, today is to focus on the magical balance between dragon and devil, because right now I'm hardly a devil and more dragon. I want an equal balance so I don't lose out on some power. Kaneko, what are we doing today? Riaz, same as yesterday, but either minus Issei or include Issei, it depends on him. Issei, I don't think I'll be much help today. He tossed the cut-up fish into a pan and started cooking it. The smell of fresh fish filled the room and it smelt amazing. Riaz, that's alright, we still have 2 weeks to handle it. Issei, but how are you feeling about the fight? It's 4 against 16 pieces, it's a really big difference. Riaz, we will have to manage one way or another. Issei, well, really push today and see what happens, alright. They nodded and then served them the fish, and after eating his very fast, he left for the forest and wasn't seen for much of the day. Later that night, he was walking around admiring the stars. Drag, partner, what is this recent fascination with the stars? Issei, I don't know, but things seem so small when you think about it, and the endless possibilities that come with it are just fascinating to me. He continued to walk and then noticed someone sitting under the gazebo in the yard. He went closer and saw it was Riaz sitting alone in the moonlight doing some reading. Issei, everything all right? She looked at him and shook her head. He sat next to her and comforted her. Issei, want to tell me about it? Ria's tearing up. It's just I'm worried that this isn't enough. We far from being able to put up a decent fight, and I'm afraid we don't have much time. We going to lose, and there's no other way to say it or do anything about it. Issei, well, what are you going to do about it? Ria's, how, what do you mean? Issei, think about it, Ria's, you have the power to actually put up a fight. It's just how you go about it, and your effort won't be gone in vain. Just have faith in them. I can see they are putting the effort to help you. Ria's, but what if we lose and then I'm married to a man who doesn't love me but wants me for my ranking? I want to marry for love, but it's not going to happen with Riser. Issei, it won't come to that, I promise. She rested her head on his shoulder. Ria's, okay. Issei, and relax occasionally. I've noticed you trying to be too mature for your own good. You're young, relax occasionally. Have some fun. She nodded, but that was it for the rest of the conversation, and they sat in relative silence for a bit. Then she got up to go to sleep. For the rest of the 2 weeks, Issei helped them with anything and everything, pushing them to the bone. But in the last 2 days, let them rest, and he went to go and train himself. After that, he went back to the Underworld, already knowing they left. He met Sirzechs and Grafia, who was showing a lot already. Issei, dang mama, look at you, you're glowing. He came and greeted Grafia, and she hugged him, and he let her take in the hug as long as she wanted. Issei, looks like all is going well. Sirzechs, there was a bit of a speed bump, but we worked through it. It's right now. Issei, why, what happened? He looked at Grafia, who was still holding him and giving Sirzechs a side eye, then looked at Sirzechs. Sirzechs, she wanted to get the baby room ready and wanted to clean, build, and paint everything, and I put a stop to it, and she broke down crying. Issei, oh man. Grafia, light blush, hush, you're ruining this for me. Issei had to hold his laugh in to not upset her more, knowing she was emotional now, and it was going to be worse, and the baby could come at any moment now. Sirzechs, so how do you think they're going to do? Issei, they should be fine for the most part. I don't expect too much, but should be entertaining. Sirzechs, in the fire. Issei, I want to say I'm pro-efficient. I could be doing better with it, but I can use it well for the most part, and I managed a balance break. Sirzechs, impressive, you going to use it? Issei, yup, scare the crap out of him, but for now let's go and watch Ye. Sirzechs, go change quickly, then we can leave. We need to be present before it starts. Issei, sure thing. He quickly went to change, greeted Venelana and Zeotics, then left with Sirzechs and Grafia to the place that looked like the school. Issei, why is it always the school? Drag, perhaps it's a large enough open space for them and they know the location well enough to have some advantage. Just a thought, I could be wrong about it. Issei, Sirzechs started the match, and they watched as Ria's and her peerage managed to take out the rest of Riser's peerage, which was surprising, but not to their surprise. Ria's lost when Riser made an inferno that took them all out beside Ria's. Riser stood over her, telling her she lost, and she submitted. Issei noticed the tears running down her face as she was taken away. Issei then went to collect the rest of her peerage, took them to an infirmary, and started healing them. They slowly started to wake up and realized what happened. Akino, in pain, oh no. Kiba, dang it, we made it so far. Kaneko. Issei, you guys did well, but don't worry about it. You guys were amazing, but come on, we have an engagement to get to. He saw the look on their faces. They were upset about it and felt like they were at fault. Later that night, Issei stood with them in a black suit with a deep red shirt under his blazer, and they still were sore, mainly Akino going against Riser's queen and still wanting to face Riser after the fact was gutsy. So even though she was healed, she was still in pain. Issei noticed that she needed help and helped her by holding her arm to keep her up and to walk a bit so she's not in constant pain and to be a gentleman. Issei, how bad is it? Akino, my left leg is still extremely sore. It's very difficult to walk in these shoes. Issei, alright, I'll help you around for the night. Akino, thank you. He held his arm out and she held his arm. He brought her closer to him so she could put more of her body weight on him so she could fully relax. Sona, hello, Issei. Akino. He turned and saw Sona standing with them now. Issei, oh hey Sona, how are you? Sona, I'm alright, thanks. Issei, you here by yourself, or do you have someone with you for this evening? Sona, by myself sadly, but it's okay. Issei, you can come and sit with me at my table with Sirzechs and family over there. He pointed and she saw Kaneko and Kiba sitting looking guilty. Sona, was it that bad? Issei, not so bad, they did well, really well, but Riser still managed to outpower them in the end. Sona, I see. Issei held his arm out so she could walk with him as well. She took his arm and they walked to the table where Kaneko and Kiba were sitting. As they walked, he could hear the other devils talking about him being Sirzech's new pawn and what power he has. He ignored them. And once they got to the table, he pulled out a chair for Akino and Sona, and let them sit and pushed in their chairs a bit and sat down between them. Vanillana, you all look lovely. Akino, thank you, Lady Vanillana. Issei, Kaneko, Kiba, why the long faces? Sirzechs, I asked a similar question, and they are clearly to blame for my daughter's current situation. Kiba, guilty, we failed, and now our master is going to suffer. Issei, don't worry about it, it's going to be all right. Kiba, how can you say that you know how she feels about this? Issei, which is why I said don't worry about it. They all saw the calm look in Issei's eyes, and they had to take it as he said it. Sirzechs and Grafia then came to sit down, and when they saw Grafia and her baby bump, they were shocked, to say the least. Sona, shocked, Miss Grafia, you're pregnant. She, along with her peerage, were shocked to even see her pregnant. Issei, so how's my niece or nephew? Grafia, they clammed tonight. They got a bit excited before you arrived home. There was some kicking, but they are all right now. Issei, cool. Sona, you knew. She turned to him in interest. Sirzechs, he was the reason behind the reason we are here now. Issei, showing off, I have an amazing singing voice. I made the whole house fall in love again. Kiba, I don't know what to say. Issei, absolutely nothing, trust me, it's better that way. Sona, still. With Riaz. She was getting dressed and she looked in the mirror looking at herself and taking in the dress that she was wearing, and it didn't feel right, it didn't feel like the moment she wanted it to be. Riaz, it looks like this my wedding day, honestly. Oh, please, on our actual wedding, the dress you have will be far more elegant. She turned to see Rizer walking toward her. Servant, Rizer-sama, please, you can't not see her, it's bad luck to see the bride. Rizer, PSH, it's only for a moment, I want to make sure she's ready to be seen as my wife. He walked closer to her with a devious smile on his face. Riaz, getting angry, please, you know you cheated, your power spiked too much for a normal high class. Rizer, maybe I did, maybe I didn't, that's for me to know, and you never to know, plus it's too late now, I won. Riaz, angry, I ref. Smack. He slapped her, knocking her to the ground. The servants in the room could only look away when he struck her. She held her lip and saw some blood running from her lip. Rizer, don't piss me off, you brat, remember who you are talking to. He then walked away and the servants came to help her. Riaz, leave me, I'll be all right, you can go, I'll clean this up. They nodded and left her alone. She had some tears in her eyes and she tried to hold back the tears but couldn't. Issei, no more sad tears, all right, only happy ones, smiles. She could only see disappointment on his face if she had to look at him, and felt her heart break, and she ended up crying a bit more. With Issei and the others. They watched as Rizer's little sister Ravel was going off at some of the helpers for not making sure the guests were properly handled. Issei took a deep breath and targeted a bit of his aura towards her. They saw her freeze and watched her slowly turn towards them, and seeing Issei looking dead at her, she quickly shut up and walked away from the party. Little do they know, Issei scared her shitless. She left the room to cry a little bit from the fear he sent towards her. Sirzechs, dragon rage, nice way of using it. Issei, thanks, I managed to attack different animals with it so I can choose who I want it to affect. Sirzechs, happy, my pawn is so cool. Issei, PSH, you praise me for things I haven't done yet. All of them agree he's got this vibe about him that makes them feel stronger when he's around, and this includes Sona. Ting asterisk ting. They all looked and saw the Rizer standing front and center. Rizer, hello all, thank you for attending my engagement. It's nice to see so many familiar faces. Let me introduce my bride, Riaz Gremory. A magic circle opened and they saw her appear. Issei was the first to notice the cut on her lip and her puffy eyes. He could see what already happened. Rizer, with no one able to beat me in battle, I haven't lost once, and now I can claim my wife with no restrictions or setbacks. He smiled and they all cheered for him. Issei clapped as well and looked at the family and could see the sadness in their eyes, and even looked disappointed as the clapping slowed down, and then he stood up. Issei, can I have a shot then? They all looked at him and they were surprised and even shocked by his question. Rizer saw who said it and felt some sort of danger coming from the man in front of him, and remembered that he was Sirzech's pawn and he could hold it against him. Riaz saw Issei and was shocked that he stood forward. Riser, sadly you can't since you are Sirzech's pawn. It would be a matter of favoritism, and plus he could have asked you to do this. Issei, I have 90% free will. The only things he's asked me were to look after Lady Grafia and train to get stronger. They all look at Sirzech, who is just as surprised. Sirzech, he's right, I do give him free will, and the only orders were to care for Grafia and train. And I'll be very honest, Riser, I wasn't impressed by your performance in the raiding game you had against my sister. She took out most of your peerage, and had you pinned you could have done way better. Riser, concerned you weren't happy with my performance. They could see the concern on his face. Sirzech, I feel you could have done much better, but you didn't. Riser, so be it. What does he get if he wins? Issei, I'm low class and you're high class. I want to see if I can kick your ass because you're full of shit. Asterisk grins plus I get bragging rights if I do bigger grin. Venelana had a smile on her face, and another person took an interest in what was going on and wanted to see how far this went. Gasps were heard all around them. Some had to hold back their laughter. Issei, she's my friend and I want to help her, so let's make a deal. I win, she gets to choose who she marries. I lose, you get to rip my heart out with my evil pieces. How's that sound? More gasps were heard and shock was evident on everyone's face, including Sirzech's. Riaz, Issei, don't. Issei held his hand up to show he knows what he's doing. Riser, deal. Sirzech stood up. Sirzech, okay then, if the deals are set, if my pawn wins, my sister gets to choose who she wants to marry, and if he loses, he gets his heart and evil pieces pulled out by Riser. Are both parties in agreement? They nodded. They were then teleported to a fighting arena, and they stood on opposite ends. Issei then took off his blazer, rolled up his sleeves, started to do some light stretches, and stood ready to fight. Riser did the same, but stood unfazed by the boy in front of him. Sirzech, this will be standard game rules. Fight till one gives up or is unable to fight. They nodded. Sirzech, you may begin. Issei covered his arms and legs and some of his body with scales. He then took a fighting position. Riser then charged him and tried to hit him into the wall, but Issei caught the first hit, shocking him. And everyone else, he then flung Riser around him and twisted his arm till it was ripped clean off. Riser screamed in pain as Issei kicked him away from him. Riser slowly got up and then blasted Issei back a bit and stood up, and Issei watched as his arm grew back. Issei, so it is in the literal sense, then this is going to be fun. Riser, you can't hurt me. Issei, watch. The green gems on his hands glowed green and everyone heard the words boost. The other devils were shocked to see that it was the Red Dragon Emperor as Sirzech's new pawn. Issei's speed increased and he sped past Riser, hitting him repeatedly, till Riser got angry and made a firewall that pushed Issei back a bit far, but he recovered, and then placed his hands together and made a large blaster. It charged with red energy, and he shot it towards Riser. As he screamed Dragon Pulse, the blast hit him, and then as he was blasted back, Issei came to hit him again, sending him into a wall, breaking his ribs. Issei getting angry and horns growing. How's that? Riser, child's play, you too slow for my healing factor. He started generating more fire, and then made wings of fire around him. Boost, boost, asterisk, boost, boost, asterisk. Particles started to form around Issei, and he caught a flame, and he sped around, moving faster than they had seen him move. The only thing they can see of him was the red streak he left behind. As he moved faster and faster, then used the momentum to axe kick Riser one way, then spin kick him into the air, then created a vortex of fire, and then hit him back into the ground. As he landed, they watched his features become more dragon-like, and he was getting more and more angry. His tail came out, then he started running on all fours, increasing his speed as his claws dug into the ground, pulling and pushing him faster. Riser got up. He was met with a claw to the face that cut him into pieces, but he managed to recover. He made a large fireball and sent it towards Issei, who surprisingly ate the fireball, and the flames around him got more intense. He charges at Riser, then started to beat him senseless. Then Riser managed to push back and made spears of fire and sent them towards Issei that blocked them with his wings, and slowly started to get bigger. He let off a dragon roar that triggered those who fought against D-Drag, and fear was felt from it. Issei then fully started to turn into a dragon matching D-Drag before he was placed into the gear. The power levels of Issei were rising so fast that it almost felt unreal to have this much power. The area started shaking, and they could feel the power leaking even more. Riser, bewildered, what the hell? He looked at the large dragon in front of him, then charged him and grabbed him with his tail, flung him into the air, and then flew up behind him, turned back into human form with a fist that hit him back into the ground, then used dragon claws to cut up Riser again. Then once on the ground, he took his legs and started ragdoll, hitting him repeatedly into the ground, knocking him out, and then waking him up, then knocking him out again. He left a beaten and blooded Riser that couldn't heal. He came behind Riser and held his head up. Issei cold, say sorry. Riser, in pain, but me. Issei used his tail and sent it through the riser's chest, repeatedly making him scream in agony. When he stopped, he screamed again. Issei angry say you're sorry. His teeth had become razor sharp, the horns went further than what Riaz saw, and the fire leaking off his body was burning the ground around him. Riser lightly crying, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. Issei, too bad, I don't believe you. Issei dropped him and then placed a foot on his back and grabbed his wings. Issei, now to make sure you know I'm serious. He slowly started to pull his phoenix wings and they slowly started to be ripped out of his back and he screamed in pain. Stop. He looked at Ravel running towards her brother. He just released all his aura that everyone felt and could feel that he could end them all here right now. The only people that weren't affected were his friends. Ravel fell down and tried to crawl away, but she couldn't move away from the monster in front of her. With one pull, he ripped off the riser's wings in front of her and she could only scream in fear. He tossed them at her. Issei then looked down at the beaten man on the floor and kicked him a bit. Issei, he's alive, be grateful, I want his head on a stick. They watched Issei take a deep breath, then the scales fell away. He picked up his blazer, dusted it off, and teleported back to Sirzechs. Issei, well, that was fun. They all watched Ravel crying, trying to heal her brother the best she could, then looked back at him getting some food. Sirzechs, Issei wins, my sister gets her freedom, and for such a great display of power, I want to grant one wish for my pawn. The other devils kept quiet. Issei, anything I want. Sirzechs, that's right. Issei, sweet, give it to someone else, I'm happy as I am, I don't need anything. He continued to eat, then Riaz ran to him and gave him a hug, and he hugged her back. Issei, see, like I said, only happy tears, asterisk smiles. Riaz crying, shut up. He stood up and covered her with a dragon wing, so no one could see her crying like this. Issei, so what now? Is the party overdue? We continue, what happens now, because it's my first engagement party. Sirzechs, well, I suppose we can all go home. The council watched that fight and shouldn't have any issues with how it went down. Kiba stood with Akino and Kaneko. They were bewildered seeing that feat of power and that destruction, and the older devils present couldn't help but feel a bit scared that he could turn into a dragon. Kiba, he's so far past us, what are we doing wrong? Kaneko, he could kill all of us in seconds and still not care about it at all. Akino, I'm glad he's on our side, imagine if he wasn't. Kiba, we would be dead, but after seeing that it makes me want to work harder on getting stronger. Akino, I'm with you. After a few minutes, Issei and Riaz just teleported back to their room, and he helped her get changed and then got into bed to sleep since his 5 boosts are catching up to him. As he lay down, Riaz came and just lay next to him and held him. Riaz, Issei, can you tell me something? Is he tired? You unsure what's up? Riaz, did you plan this? Issei, yes and no, but most yes. After Sirzechs said no one's beaten him for your hand in marriage, I decided to take the mantle. Flashback. Issei, I can do it. Sirzechs and Grafia looked at him confused. Issei, look, you gave me free will, but to look after your wife and stuff, so it's my choice and you didn't tell me anything. Plus, I think right now I can wipe the floor with him. He seems easy enough to fight. Sirzechs, are you sure? Issei, yeah, I want to help her, so let me do it. Sirzechs, all right, then help them help you. You can learn from how they work and use it to your advantage to help you learn more. Issei, all right, and if I learn anything more then I'll be using all I got in the fight. Smiles. Flashback end. Issei tired and that was it. Riaz, thank you. Issei tired, it's not a problem, now you get to pick who you want to marry. Riaz, yay. Issei, now then let's get to sleep, we have school tomorrow. Riaz, you right, night Issei. Issei, night Riaz. He fell asleep and Riaz just came closer to him and got comfy lying on his chest. Riaz, smiling, I think I've already chosen who I want to marry. She drifted off to sleep and for once in a long time, she could relax and sleep well. Chapter ends. Life 6, a comeback. The next morning, Issei woke up with Riaz by his side. He got up and stretched, and then he heard a very audible crack going along his back. Draconic, good morning partner, how are you feeling today? Issei, I feel a light I need to get done. I want to see if we can make that dragon pulse stronger later today. I feel like after I used balance break, I can make things stronger. He got dressed and woke up Riaz. She smiled at him again and then got out of bed. Drake, partner given your past, isn't seeing her in a nightgown that is 90% see-through affecting you in any way. Issei, truth be told, I've noticed it, but I put it aside because I have respect for her and her family, and I'm not going to make her feel uncomfortable in her own home. Drake, fair enough. He walked to the dining room and found the family there. They all smiled at him and said thank you to him. He nodded. Issei, it's not a problem, I'll do it again if I must. Smiles. Venelana gave him a bone-crushing hug and wouldn't stop swaying him around. Ria's light blush. Mother, let him go. She tried to pull her mother off him, but she didn't budge. Venelana, happy? Why would I? He's made me so happy. Issei, I'm happy too, but I need to leave, mother. I'm going to be late if I don't eat now. Venelana, alright, fine. She gave him a kiss on the cheek. He sat down and Riaz sat by his right-hand side like all the women do in the family, and Venelana saved to mention that for when she talks with her daughter again and wants to tease her. Sirzechs, so this morning I got a message from the council that you have been accepted to go for mid-class trials to officially make you a mid-class devil. We can see by the end of the week or before. Issei, sweet, I'm getting closer to fighting you one-on with no holding back. The family and staff were shocked when he said this. Riaz, you're not doing that. Grafia, I agree, that isn't happening. Issei, what, why? Riaz, just know it is unnecessary violence. She made a point and Issei understood. Issei, fine. Sirzechs, we will do it in secret. Smile. Issei, my point exactly, they'll never know. Matches. Smile. Both Riaz and Grafia hit them over the head. Both, we said no. They rubbed their heads and nodded. Venelana, Issei, Riaz, anything interesting happening today? Riaz, not in particular. Anything planned was to either look for Issei or was getting married today, so nothing really. Issei, I fixed a whole month's worth of issues for her, but for me, well, I'm meeting them now. This morning the music group came back begging me to help them. Then after school I'm having kendo practice where I have my warm-up. Riaz, interesting. Issei, what is? Riaz, you seem to be training even at school, and looking at the power and strength you displayed last night seems evident that you getting stronger. Issei, my point of doing so you did. I'm ready to leave. Riaz, let's go. She took his arm and they teleported away. Venelana, you see I was right, she likes him. Sirzechs, you and your matchmaking. Zeoticus, but has she been wrong though, son? Oh, that reminds me, we can go and complete the adoption forms. Venelana, oh, that's perfect, let's go, my love. In the overworld, Issei and Riaz walked towards the school. She still held on to his arm and they made small talk. She then saw him take his phone out and saw the message. Mom, Issei, please come home, we want to talk. Riaz, now they want you around. Issei, seems like it. I'm not going back. I'm happy with everything I have now. It's more than I could ask for in a lifetime. Everything and anything else is just a bonus at this point for me. Riaz, the adoption forms should be here any day now when I think about it. Issei, perfect, when they come in then they can never touch me again. Riaz, happy. Oh, we are having a meeting about the things that go around in the city. Would you like to come and see what's going on? Maybe even make it official for the other supernaturals here, kind of. Issei, sure, I'll be there after practice. They walked into the school together and the students went wild seeing her holding his arm. They also walked in together, setting off alarms for everyone. They entered the building, gave each other a hug, and then went their separate ways for the day. Riaz was immediately stopped by a large group of girls. Riaz, is something wrong? Girl, are you and Issei dating? She grew a blush. Riaz, blushing, no we're not. Girl, then why are you blushing? Riaz, blushing, I need to go. She quickly walked away from them, which only made them all say they were dating, and it spread fast. When Issei got to the music group, they were all looking at their phones shocked. Issei, everything alright? You look shocked. Kira, shocked, are you dating Riaz? Issei, no, we are just friends. Why are you asking? Natsu, dude, you and her are the talk of the whole school right now. Issei looked at his phone, and in all the groups he was in, he had the same questions and a lot of messages from people he didn't know asking him the same question. Issei laughing, hee hee, dang, might make that a real thing then. Ruby, so you two really aren't dating? Issei, nope. He came closer to them and took a guitar to get ready for practice. Alice, but why was she holding your arm? Issei, haven't you seen it before? Guys do it as a form of protection, so like she doesn't get grabbed while we walk, plus it is safe for her. Lucy, maybe I wouldn't have believed it when you were just gone, but since you came back you look like you can fight now, but weren't you stabbed back then? Issei, you are correct, I've been training hard and started kendo as well, and I've gotten pretty good at it, I mean check it out. He lifted his shirt and they could see the dragon lines on top of his super-built body that most guys would dream of. Issei, so I think it's all good personally. Kira, right, we are getting off topic, you saw the list we sent, are you capable of playing and singing those songs? Issei, yup, no issues, do you guys know the basis for some of them? James, I got the drums down for them, but other than that, that's it. Issei, perfect, I can show you guys how to hit the notes quickly enough to make the song sound good, everyone ready? Hi. After some bad practice and getting the songs right mostly and getting the voice tones right, they called it for the morning and then went to class. While going to class, Issei dogged a tackle from his old friends and he just continued walking, ignoring them. They grabbed his legs and he just walked, dragging them with him. Everyone that saw them heard what they were asking him to do. Madohama crying, please help us get girls. Matsuda crying, please be one of us again. He just ignored them and continued walking and dragging them around. Everyone started to respect him more because he was committed to making a change for himself, and now when he's doing well, they trying to drag him down again and they didn't like it. Later that day he walked with Murayama to the gym for kendo practice. She took his arm while they walked and he didn't do anything but did look a bit confused. Issei, you alright, is someone following us? He stopped and looked back and didn't see anyone. Murayama, blushing, no, I just wanted to walk with you like this if that's okay. Issei, I see. Again, he noticed the pictures, asking questions like what was going on and how he was getting along well with the girls. Once at the gym, Kade saw them walk in together and then he went to the changing room. And the girls all came to Murayama with smirks on their faces. Kade smirking, what was that? Murayama blushing, what do you mean? Kira walking in with him like that, you better pray Riaz doesn't get upset. They all started teasing her but then stopped when Issei came out of the changing room. He had on a black tank top with ninja wrappings around his legs and feet. Kade's nice look, dude. Issei, thanks. They noticed the markings going around his arms, leading to his chest and back and ending by his neck. Murayama, hey Issei, what's these marks all over you? Issei, tattoos. They all looked at him shocked and came closer to look at them. Kade's, I'll admit they look cool, but still, why so much? Issei, just felt like it. A few of them touched it and he tried to brush it off, but they kept tracing some of them and they could feel the warmth coming off them as they traced them. Issei, yeah, let's get done for today. They all came to their senses and went to get done with their things. Issei took a bow staff and then started fighting with it like he'd done this before. Once taking the dummy's head off with it, they were all surprised and shocked that he did it so easily. Issei then just started doing some calisthenics training and held his body weight with his hands and then still lifted himself into a handstand, then went to his fingers, slowly raised one hand and stayed there for a bit. He then slowly switched hands and then stayed like that for a few minutes, then came back to a normal stance and stayed in plank for a while and watched them train themselves. He decided to watch Murayama a bit and saw she was trying to do what he did with a bow staff. Issei, flip your index finger towards your pinky, then bring it down like a strike and attack. She nodded and they watched her and she got it right. Murayama, happy, thanks so much, I've been trying to get it right for a while now. Issei, no problem, hey someone come sit on my back. Murayama came to sit on his back. Issei, 42 kg isn't enough, I need one more person please. Murayama blushed when she heard him say it wasn't enough weight. She was happy but still her heart was racing. Sitting on his back, she could feel every muscle on his back. Kade then walked over and sat on his back. Issei, 40 kg right, 82 kg should be enough. He changed from a plank to then doing push-ups with them on his back. Kade, so mind telling me why we are on your back? Issei, added extra weight that isn't going to hurt my back like a metal plate. Murayama, but aren't the two of us a bit too much for you to handle? I don't want you to get hurt. Issei, nope, this is fine. Some of the girls took short videos and pictures and sent them to the other girls to see what was going on. It blew up again around the school, increasing Issei's popularity more than he thought it would. He continued to push through and get his warm-up finished. With Rias in the club room, they are looking at their phones of Issei's latest video that was taken. Rias, he seems to be having a good day. Akino, oh I know you two look cute together. Rias just blushed but shook it off. Sona, well the thing is he's free to do as he pleases, and a lot of people actually started to take a liking to him even in the underworld. She looked towards Sona and her peerage that was with them for this meeting and didn't realize that he was gaining so much fame with the power to back it up too. Rias, really? Sona, how does a low-class devil make a high-class such as Riser still be in recovery as we speak? Not only that, the fact that he is a dragon on top of being part of the Devil King's peerage, he's bound to get more people wanting to fight him or even. Saji, I heard about that. Did he really rip off Riser's wings? Sona, yes that is right, and then toss them at Ravel. Kiba, he might be even more ahead than Rias and Sona put together in terms of fighting skill and magic power. Tsubaki, is he still coming today? As she said this, the door opened, and Issei came though in his gym clothing. Issei, sorry I'm late, I wanted to finish my sets today, I might not get to train today if I don't. They all looked behind them and saw Issei in his gym clothes, and saw his build looking better than the last time they saw him. Kaneko, confused, how do you still smell so nice? Momo, she's right, you smell great man. Issei, I don't know, just am. Akino, when dragons perspire, they give off a different scent depending on if they are in heat or not, but regardless to the guys he shouldn't smell him or be affected, but to females, he will always smell good. Issei, please give me the book on dragons you read. The overgrown lizard in my head doesn't tell me much. Akino went to the shelf and pulled the book out. Issei, sweet thank you, go ahead and get started with your meeting, I'm just here for the sake of it. They nodded. Rias, so the number of strays has increased in recent days, I would like to have them sorted before the midterm break. Sona, I've seen, how do you propose we sort it out? It's too much to go after in a single night. Rias, splitting into teams and divide and conquer would be the best bet. Sona, given that it's a bit off and some of us will land up alone, and going after a stray alone is suicide. Issei, reading his book, I'll handle it, you can sort something else out. Sona and Rias looked at each other and then back at him. Sona, and you'll make sure they are all sorted out. Issei, yup, my dragon pulse needs target practice, and other than that I do need to train in fighting today still. Rias, then you can go and sort it out for us. Issei, sweet, I'll call Sirzechs and tell him. Issei made a magic communication device and then started talking to Sirzechs. Rias, all right, other than that you know what day is coming up. Sona, oh trust me, I made sure not to tell her. Rias, I have no choice, they want to be around for Issei, so they know, but none have mentioned it yet. Kiba, why would they want to be involved? Rias, he's being adopted into the Bale family soon, and that's a big thing to happen. Their eyes all went wide. Rias, so they took a major liking to him, so my family is coming regardless of what I tell them, and I know Sirzechs talks to Serafal about his new pawn, she might just come with just to meet him. Sona, may say it and help me. Issei, hey, Sirzechs said I can go ahead, and to make it quick, Grafia is nearing labor time and wants the both of us home soon, so mind taking my things back for me. Rias, sure, I don't mind. He made her put on his jacket, handed her his phone and then his bags, then ran to a window, spun around in a vortex of fire, and took off, shaking the whole building with the force he left with. Saji, how I wish I could just take off like that. I need to give Sona 3 to 5 business days minimum to do something of my own free. Well, even then, it's mostly a no. Sona, perhaps I should take a page out of Sirzech's book. Issei trained them, and they took out most of Riser's peerage, and they were outnumbered, so you might see some changes soon. Saji. Saji, sparkling eyes, really, you going to do this for me? Sona, yes, perhaps I'm the one holding you back from progressing. Rias, well, I suppose it's the end of our weekly meeting, I'll go, I'll see you all later. She made a magic circle, and as she was about to leave. Akino, don't keep your new boyfriend waiting. Before she could react, she was taken away. With Issei. He was hitting every spot he found to stay, and he ended them with one shot or hit, completely killing them, and then using his fire to incinerate the body so no one would catch on. During his last one, he was a bit reckless and made a lot of noise and used a lot of fire. Drag, you seem to be getting better with that, perhaps the promotion is a good thing. Issei, yeah, you're right, let's go. As he was about to leave, he heard a man's voice and footsteps coming closer to him. "Hey, what's going on here?" He turned around to see a man with black hair, blonde fringe with a goatee walking towards him. Issei couldn't get a trace on him, but it was still surprising to have him just show up like that. "Issei, who are you?" "You call me Azazel." Issei, biblical. "Alright, Azazel, what do you want?" "Azazel, a drinking buddy. Honestly, I know about devils and all. I've made a few contracts with them in the past too, so I'm just looking for an interesting friend for the night." The look on his face made Issei think otherwise, but he couldn't risk making an enemy of an unknown just yet. "Issei, I'm okay." Issei kept his guard up and watched the man in front of him. Not even D-Drake could get a read on him. After a few minutes of walking, they arrived at his house, sat down, and poured a shot for Issei and himself. "Azazel, all alright, tell me about yourself, and relax a bit, I don't bite." "Issei, what's there to say? I'm nothing special." "Azazel, don't lie to me, kid. I saw you take care of that monster with ease and alone too, so what's your deal?" "Issei, fine, I'm a dragon-devil hybrid." He watched as Azazel's face showed interest, a lot of interest. "Azazel, that's a first. Normally, they have a bit of human involved." They both took a shot and Issei used his fire on the inside to burn up the alcohol. "Issei, some things happened and my human side was killed and the dragon took over." "Azazel, relax, kid. I'm not here to attack you. I just wanted to meet the man that killed Rainier and Donasek. I'm neutral right now." Issei, shocked. "What?" Issei stopped for a few seconds and started to get ready to fight. Realizing that he was cornered, he had to be ready for anything. "Azazel, like I said, I'm neutral at the moment." He brought out his fallen wings, and Issei could read his magic output. "Azazel, I'm the Governor General of the Fallen Angels, and I want to know what happened to my subordinates." Issei, simple. I killed them, ripped their wings off, and tore one's spine out with his head still attached, and then I tortured Rainier till I had enough and killed her by crushing her head. "Azazel, interesting methods. Tell me something. What did they do to you?" His attitude changed, and Issei could feel it, and got ready for anything. "Issei, they tricked me into thinking my life changed, and then they killed me, which killed my human side." "Azazel, well, you're still alive now. Was this before you became a devil, or while you were a devil?" "Issei, before. Being turned into a devil is what saved me." "Azazel, I see. Well, I want to apologize for their actions on behalf of the Fallen Angels faction. They went rouge and deserved what was coming to them. They would have faced the same fate from my side." "Issei, what?" "Azazel, I never sent them here. No orders, nothing. They pretty much did what would turn you into a stray." "Issei, I think I need to go." "Azazel, relax. Red Dragon Emperor, I mean no harm. Tell Sirzechs I send my regards and wish to have a meeting soon if he's good with that." Issei nodded and then ran to the door, jumped off the balcony, and flew into the sky, trying to get away from him as fast as possible. With the unknown danger, things could get incredibly bad for him. He opened a portal into the underworld and landed in the living room with everyone waiting for him. They could see his face. Something happened. Issei stressed. "Zech is outside now." Sirzechs got up and the two walked outside. The family was concerned, but Issei didn't look hurt, but it was still concerning for him to look distressed like that. Outside, Issei and Sirzechs stood ready to handle the situation. "Sirzechs, what's wrong? Issei, you look like someone held a gun to your head." "Issei, that would have been better. I just met the Governor General of the Fallen Angels." Sirzechs, shocked. "What?" "Issei." "Nothing happened. He gave me a drink, and I immediately turned into a combustion chamber to burn off the alcohol, but he was waiting for me by one of the stray sites. And after I took care of it, he showed up claiming he wanted a drinking buddy. Then we went back to his place. He didn't do anything, but once he got to his loft, he spoke and told me who he is. Azazel, the Governor General of the Fallen Angels. He apologized, and he sent his regards. I immediately booked it and got away as fast as possible. He knew I was the Red Dragon Emperor, even with me hiding it." "Sirzechs, at least you all right, but look, did he say anything else that stood out to you?" "I know, he doesn't do anything without reason." "Issei, he wants to have a meeting soon." Sirzechs, this seems like a trap, but given that he didn't attack you and didn't try anything funny, then I suppose that we can arrange a meeting in due time. Perhaps we can make some sort of peace treaty like we have been trying to do for years. Issei, then if I see him again, I'll tell him that you are setting up a meeting date if you don't get to him first. Sirzechs, but remember, think ahead right now. Azazel is a wild card and could do anything if he feels like it. Issei, I know. Sirzechs, alright, let's go inside and be with Grafia. Issei nodded and the two walked in. Sirzechs immediately went to Grafia's side and held her hand, and Issei stood at the back of the group to be out of the way. Riaz slowly walked up to him and stood next to him. Riaz, everything alright? You seem more stressed than normal. Issei, physically I'm fine, mentally my mind is racing with how everything could have turned out tonight. Riaz, what happened? Issei, I met Azazel. Riaz kept quiet for a few minutes to think about it. Riaz, given you're fine and that no one is planning a war right now, I take it as he wants to talk to my brother. Issei, that's right. Riaz, well, I'll be here for you if you need it. She took his hand and held it while they watched Grafia starting to give birth. He held hers back as they watched a baby boy being born. He had some red hair, which was a clear sign. The staff helped clean up the baby and then wrapped him up and handed him to Grafia. He then slowly stopped crying and started to relax and started. The moment was amazing, seeing a new life being born. It was a different type of happiness that they witnessed. Venelana cognates my son and daughter. Sirzechs was in awe of his son and couldn't stop looking at him. It finally happened, his son was finally born and he couldn't be more happy. Issei, I think let's give them some time to take in the moment. They all left them in the room and went to do their own things. Issei and Riaz were still holding hands. They didn't mind, it was a nice feeling for the both of them and didn't have any reason to really let go, so they walked together to their room where Issei sat in the bed and lay down looking at the roof. Riaz, are you sure you're okay? She came into his view. She was sitting on top of him. She placed her hands on his chest as she was looking down at him. Her hair created a halo effect, blocking all the surrounding items around him. He focused on her and looked at her direction. Issei, just thinking about whether my parents were like that or not, but I'll never know. Riaz, what do you mean? Issei, well, when I was younger, I had this friend Hyoudou. One day something happened, I don't know what, but they had to move away. And things after that with my biological parents became tense. They just started to give me less and less attention. As time went on, I never understood why, and it became the norm for me. Riaz, well, now you have us and we love you. She cupped his face to make sure he was looking at her. Riaz, you know mother had the forms ready. You can go and talk to her about it. She just didn't want the spotlight of my brother and sister-in-law. Issei, really? Riaz, you can start your new life now. All you need to do is sign it and it's done. Issei, then let's go. She gently got off him and then the two of them walked to Venelana and Zeoticus sitting in the family room talking about how cute their grandchild is. They saw Issei and Riaz walk in together, not even 5 minutes since they all parted ways. Venelana, smiling, I'm assuming she told you. Issei, yeah, she did. Riaz grew a bit of an embarrassed blush and fidgeted for a bit, but then followed Issei and sat next to him while her parents sat across from them. Venelana then pulled out the documents and placed them in front of Issei. It was all filled out. All he needed to do was sign them. His hands started shaking. Riaz took his hand and held it. She saw he was scared and they could all see it. He's scared. Riaz, what's wrong, Issei? Issei, deep breath. No, it's not a mistake. This is what I want. He signed the papers and to his surprise, it felt like a large weight was lifted off his shoulders. Venelana, welcome home. Issei, Bale, smiling asterisk. Issei, smiling, I'm home. Can I go get some air so I can fully take it in, please? Venelana, sure, take your time, mate. Zeoticus, relax, kid, things will only go up from here. He nodded and then went outside. He got up and left, leaving the three alone. Venelana, you seem to have taken a big liking to him, smiles. Riaz, light blush, what do you mean? Venelana, bigger smile, I was talking to your father, my dear. Riaz's blush just increased. It almost looked like she was just a head of hair with blue eyes, the way her blush matched her hair. Venelana, smiling now, I saw you two also held hands when the baby was born too. Want to tell me about that? And even sitting on his right during breakfast like a wife does. Riaz fell to her side on the couch and covered her face with her hands, trying not to let her parents see her like this, but they both just had a bit of a chuckle and waited for Issei to return. Riaz, embarrassed, and me now. With Issei outside. Deidre, congratulations, partner. Issei, slightly freaking out, I can't believe I just cut my last string with them. It feels so freeing yet empowering. Diedrag, well, stop freaking out, you going to trigger your instincts from accelerated heart rate. Issei, damn, you're right, I need to relax, but I can't, I'm just so happy to have a family that wants me around. I even have a purpose now, it's all happening so fast that I kind of want it to all slow down enough that so I can enjoy it. Diedrag, it's fine to feel like this, partner, but remember, don't get too comfy. Comfort makes us weak and lazy. We need to keep up the hard work. Issei, you're right, let's keep that grind up. Diedrag, good, now then, let's go back to your mother and father. Issei, yeah, you're right. Diedrag, on another note, you know you have 2 possible girlfriends. Issei, hold up, what do you mean 2 girlfriends? Diedrag, the girl that held your arm earlier today when she held your arm. Issei, you mean Murayama? Diedrag, yes, she seems to have taken an interest in you. I noticed it when she started taking your side when you went to talk to Sona about joining the music group the first time. Issei, interesting, and I'm guessing you were talking about Rias as the other girl, right? Diedrag, yes, even before you beat Riser for her hand in marriage, you and her seem to get along very well. There is a spark, as I should put it, and yours is burning so bright some would say you two are already dating. Issei, I need to start taking note of what's happening around me. I could have someone wanting to kill me, and I won't know about it till it's too late. Diedrag, that's right, now then take a deep breath and go and enjoy some family time. Issei, yeah, thanks for fixing my mindset, set man. Diedrag, I can't let self-doubt fill your mind when you face off against the White One. He will toy with your mind till you won't know what is real or not. Issei, he can do that. Diedrag. Over a few decades ago, my last partner didn't stand a chance because he had everything in his life changed to the point he didn't know what was real or not because of the White One. Everything was normal, but then he started to notice that his mate wasn't really his mate but a different woman. And then his kids turned into animals around the house. And then his house wasn't even his house, he became a ghost. And then the White One and he fought and killed each other. Then I went to you. Issei, that's intense. Diedrag, that is why we work together on making things so strong and good that you'll notice a change in everything if it was changed, and if the White One's host wants to do the same to you. Issei, then let's do this. He walked back and saw Rias still hiding her face from her parents, both of them laughing at her actions. Issei, I am all right now. Venelana, welcome to the Bale family, Issei, thank you for taking me, asterisk smiling asterisk. Both Xiaudicus and Venelana came to hug him. Venelana, now that you may be a Bale, you are my son, same with Xiaudicus, he's your father, you just have the Bale name now. Issei, sweet asterisk smiling. They let him go, and then he turned to Rias, who was still smiling at him. Rias, you feeling better, smiling asterisk. Issei, smiling more than you would know. She took his hand and he took hers, and she held his hand tight and he did the same. Issei, I think it's time for bed, it's been a long day. Rias, happy, yay. They said goodnight to both Venelana and Xiaudicus and went to their room. They got changed and then got into bed. Rias was next to them and they stayed in silence for a bit. Then Issei spoke. Issei, hey, one day you want to go out? A blush spread on her face and fast. She didn't expect him to just straight up ask. Rias, blushing, what do you mean? She turned to him and was happy the lights were off. She could see his outline looking at the roof. Issei, you and I go out and have an outing together. Rias, blushing, like a date. Issei, yeah, like a date. Rias, blushing, sure, I would love to. Issei, cool. They hugged each other and went asleep in each other's embrace. The next morning, the two woke up early to go and check up on Grafia. Issei didn't change, he was just in shorts, and Rias was wearing one of his shirts, which was big enough to at least cover her legs till mid-thigh, and both of their hair was still a mess, but regardless, they went to go see Grafia and Sirzechs. When they looked into the room, they saw the baby sleeping soundly with Sirzechs holding both Grafia and the baby in his arms while they slept. Issei, I think let's leave them be, it's probably going to be like this for a while. Rias, yeah, I agree. They gently closed the door and then went to go and get changed for the day. Once finished, Issei left the top 2 buttons of his shirt open because his chest was too big for his current shirt. Rias saw this and internally screamed when she saw him getting hotter as time went on. What she didn't know was that he was also checking her out as she changed just as much as she was checking him out. In the overworld, Sona and Tsubaki could be seen walking to the school to prepare for the day. As they walked up to the gate, they saw 2 robed people standing by the gate with a magic aura that could be noticed by anyone. They met eyes and just looked at each other. Sona, what brings you two here? Both of them were female. One had blue hair with a few green strands with dark yellow eyes, and the other had bright brown hair and violet eyes. Blue hair, we want to talk to the redhead. Time skip a few hours. Issei and Riaz walked into school, this time holding hands. They reached their spot, gave each other a hug, and went their separate ways for the day. People were starting to notice Issei's change in body looks, and even attitude. Girls started to swoon over him, and his popularity started to rise a bit more. Madohama, it's not fair, we put effort into being better looking, but he's just cheating at this point, having Riaz with him. Matsuda, want to try something that might change that for him. Madohama, I'm listening. Issei made his way to the music room, and they were practicing one of the songs to get it sounding right. Kira, oh cool, you're here. Hyoudou. Issei, oh it's Bale now, I got adopted into another family yesterday. Kira, oh sorry about that Bale, congratulations. The others all came to greet him and congratulate him. Kira, hey, mind helping us with vocals again? The song sounds right for the most part, but in general we sound off without you singing. Issei, sure, what you do want to try first? As they were setting up, a man walked in. He was on the older side and looked like he snuck into the school. Guy, looks like the right place, I have a request please. With Riaz. She walked to her club room where she found Kiba, Akino, and Kaneko waiting for her. Akino, Ara, you seem to be glowing, smiling asterisk. Riaz, blushing, Grafia had her baby and Issei was adopted yesterday into the Bale family, so the mood around the house is just happy, as I guess it's making me have a better mood as well. Akino, are you sure no one else is making you like this? Both Kiba and Kaneko had small smile on their faces. Riaz, firstly, why you as well? Secondly, it's too early for this, I just got here. Kiba, our point exactly. Riaz, this is none of your business what happens, but anyway, this week Sirzechs wants us to train with Issei again. Are you all okay with this? Kaneko, if you stop dogging the question, then maybe. Riaz squinted at them, and they could only smile at her. Riaz, fine, I have a date with Issei. He didn't say when, but he asked me out. Are you happy? All three, yes, and congratulations. Riaz, now then, that is all, you may leave, but Akino, will you mind assisting me with the strays Issei killed last night? Akino, sure thing. She came over to the other side of the desk and started working while Kiba and Kaneko left for their classes. They worked for a few minutes, then Sona and Tsubaki came in. Riaz, Sona, is something wrong? They walked in, and they could see a serious look on both girls' faces. Sona, yes, you see, this morning Tsubaki and I encountered two members of the church wanting to meet you. I came to inform you about it before they arrive when you least expect it. Riaz, okay, thanks for letting me know, I'll handle it. Sona nodded and then left with Tsubaki. Akino, oh my, this seems like it's going to be an interesting week, don't you think? Riaz, you right, Issei better not go off at them, we don't need the church after us as well. Akino, well, what's a little excitement, right? Later that day, Issei was walking and had Kaneko walking with him. Issei, so you like snacks, huh? Kaneko, yes. Issei, well, I'm going to my old house to give them the news. Would you like to come with me for a bit of an outing? I'm sure I can go and grab the last of the things that I want. Kaneko, okay. Issei, sweet, let's just go and tell Riaz that I'm taking you with me so she doesn't freak out if she can't find you. Kaneko, Issei-senpai, do you miss it? Issei, miss what? Kaneko, leaving your original family for another so soon. Issei, depends on the situation. They abandoned me first, so all I did was cut ties with them, and it was a whole month without contact from them. And then when I started to settle into my new life, they contacted me again wanting to talk, and they worried about me. But I try not fully react in most situations like this, because I only know my side, not theirs, but I don't want to hear theirs. I feel like it's only going to make me angrier if I do hear it. Kaneko, smart. Issei, you don't talk much, do you? Kaneko, no. Issei, I was the same when I left. I made the people around me worry for nothing, so come talk to me if you need to. I won't tell Riaz unless you are disobeying her or something, but your secrets are safe with me, okay? She took his hand and he noticed that she wanted some comfort, and this seemed to be her way of showing it. They got to the clubroom and then Riaz saw Kaneko holding Issei's hand and was interested in why, but ultimately didn't mind. Issei, hey, I wanted to ask if I can steal Kaneko for a bit. Riaz, I'm fine with it. What do you plan on doing? Issei, I'm going to go and cut more stings off my biological family and get the rest of my stuff that I may have left behind, like some chocolate vouchers I saved. I'm in the mood for some sweets. Rias, sure, but please be safe. I don't want either of you hurt. Issei, please, it's me. Rias, that's what I'm worried about. You casually just met the fallen angel general, so please be careful. Her peerage looked at him like he's got the worst luck in the world, and yet he was not even hurt. Issei, alright, fine. He came to her and kissed her cheek and left with Kaneko. Ria's blush just started to increase, and Akino just had a smile on her face seeing the interaction, while Kiba couldn't help but smile. With Issei and Kaneko, she continued to hold his hand while they walked and started talking a bit more with him. Issei, Nasi, you can have chicken with pasta, same with fish, but when it comes to surf and turf, I'm not a fan. I prefer the two separately. Kaneko, you're missing out. Ice senpai. Issei, I'm missing out. Nope, I'm good, thank you very much. Kaneko, are you ready for this? Issei, as I'll ever be. He went to the house and it struck both him and Kaneko that they could feel the presence and it was welcoming. Issei, confused, asterisk, holding his head, what the hell? Kaneko, asterisk, holding her head, it's holy magic, someone from the church is in the house and they are strong. Issei, oh days of all days, I want to get the last of my stuff. They forced themselves to the door and knocked on it. Miki came to the door and she almost didn't recognize Issei standing by the door. She stood for a few minutes processing who was in front of her. Miki, Issei, is that you? Issei, yes. She tried to hug him, but he stopped her before anything could happen further. Miki, what's wrong? Why won't you let me hug you? Issei, because I'm not here for that. I'm just here to get the last of my things and leaving. Just wanted to give you this. He handed her the document and walked into his room. Both Issei and Kaneko made eye contact with the two people they guessed were the presence they felt. They looked at him and one's eyes widened and she smiled at him. He brushed it off and then went to his old room with Kaneko. Miki came back to the room and tears started running down her face. Oh, what's wrong, Auntie? Miki, Issei left the family and was adopted into another one. We failed. She placed the document on the coffee table and the two looked confused. Then Issei came down with a few things and just left, not saying a word to any of them, and they were gone. Kaneko, smooth Issei. Issei had to. I'm not going to argue about it. I'm leaving. No discussion, no nothing. I'm done with them. Kaneko, your room had some interesting things in it. Issei, like what? Room was barren. Kaneko, I could see the emotions in that room. Issei, then I'm guessing you only felt the lust. That was all I had in that room. Kaneko, yes, but also loneliness and sadness. Issei, seems right. Kaneko, are you going to be okay? Issei, yeah, and here. He handed her a few vouchers and they said she gets 3 kg of any chocolates and sweets, and these don't expire at all. Kaneko was shocked beyond comprehension. He gave her 5 of these. He just gave her 15 kgs worth of chocolate and sweets. Kaneko, I can't take all of these, at least give them to the others. Issei, I have more. I had 10. I still have 5 for myself to give to others. Enjoy them. Kaneko, thank you, senpai. Issei, just call me Issei or Issei or Issei. You don't need to call me senpai. I'm going to end up spending more time with you guys one way or another, so you don't need to be so formal. Kaneko, okay. He walked her to a large house and saw Kiba busy cooking through the window. Issei, why is he here? Kaneko, we live together. Akino senpai too, and Bouchu sometimes. Issei, that's cool, maybe I'll come and visit sometimes. He gave Kaneko a hug, watched her walk inside, and waved Kiba off as he walked away. He flew to the school again and landed on the roof of the club room, then climbed in through the window. Rias, oh Issei, you're back. Where's Kaneko? Issei, oh, I took her home, then came back here to get you before I go home. Rias, oh, we still going to be a bit if you don't mind. Issei, sure, I don't mind waiting. I can always train in my head. Akino, train in your head. Issei, yay, I get pulled into the gear and I can train and work out to my heart's content, plus then I have D-Drag inside with me and he helps me out. Rias, alright, you can go ahead, I'll wake you when we're ready. Issei, okay. He went to a couch and laid on it and he was out within seconds. Rias, that was fast. Akino, so tell me about him. Rias, what do you want to know? Akino, smiling, everything, like when you started liking him. Rias, it was when he calmed me down. It was something I think I needed in my life, someone to reassure me when I'm feeling down. but he made me feel safe and protected even when it didn't look like it was. His presence alone made me feel better about myself. I felt stronger and even more in control because I had him by my side, and he just has this aura around him that just makes everyone feel better. Even my mother and father felt it. I believe even Kaneko will be a bit different after spending some time with him. He's just someone that brings peace of mind to those around him. Akino, oh my, was this when you started to like him? Riaz, no, it's when he told me to be myself and to relax because I've been stressing myself out about the little things when I started. Akino, but he seems to be very interested in you. Riaz, the feelings are mutual. I think we both unintentionally agreed to take things slow because right now everything seems perfect actually, and I feel slowly day by day I'm learning more about him and him about me. Akino asterisk smirking, I might just make him cheat on you with me. Riaz, huh, oh hell no, that won't happen. Akino, then would you like to see? Riaz, no, you won't do anything of the sort. Akino smiling tilde. After a few more minutes they finished their work and Riaz took Issei's hand and his eyes opened. He looked at her and then the three of them teleported to the underworld. Issei went straight to Grafia and Sirzechs and found them making small talk while Grafia was holding him. Issei, hey, how's my nephew? Sirzechs, a bit of a hiccup this morning with the crying, but he's calmed down. He seems to be like his mother, very quiet. Riaz and Akino stood behind Issei and saw the baby in Grafia's arms and how he was awake but was just looking around. The girls sat down but Issei stayed looking at the baby. Issei, what's his name? Sirzechs, would like to introduce you to Milika's Gremory. Issei, that's a nice name. Would it be right if I hold him? Grafia, as long as he isn't too far from me or Sirzechs, he should be fine. She gently handed Milika's to Issei and they all watched as he started becoming more aware of who was holding him. He started giggling seeing Issei and wanting to grab his face and pull his hair. Issei, looks like I'm the favorite, chuckle. The family was surprised to hear him laughing and giggling after a few being held by Issei. They enjoyed hearing him laughing and waving his hands around. Sirzechs, why do you think I made you and Ria his godparents? They both looked at him and smiled. Issei, oh hell yeah, smiling asterisk. Milika's, he was overjoyed to be in Issei's arms. Venelana, looks like Issei is going to have some fun when Milika's is walking. He's going to follow him around, I can see it. Sirzechs, Grafia was around Issei a lot during her pregnancy, so he's probably familiar with Issei's aura and presence. Riaz, my little nephew is so cute. Akino, he's adorable. Issei, babysitting is going to be a breeze. Grafia, his uncle is also going to be the one to help train him when his father is too old to do anything. Sirzechs, hey, I'm not that old yet. Issei, I think she wants more dude. Sirzechs looked at Grafia and she had a small smile on her face. Sirzechs, oh boy. Venelana, how did it go with your old family, Issei? They looked at him a bit concerned. Issei, well, not to my surprise, my old father wasn't home, then my old mother wanted to just hug me like nothing happened. I stopped her from trying, and then handed her the paper, then went to my room where two members of the church were sitting in the family room. The one waved at me, then Kaneko, and I went to get the rest of my things, and then we left. I didn't make small talk, I just left. Riaz, wait, two members of the church were just sitting in the house. Issei, yup, I felt the presses from down the road, then it was also at the school, but it didn't mess with me then, only now recently. Riaz, why didn't you tell me, Issei? Issei, because there was no threat or danger, they just acknowledged my existence for the most part. I didn't even talk to them or take notice. Sirzechs, good, but Ria, what seems to be the problem? Riaz, they met Sona by the school this morning and then said they wanted to have a talk with me, then they left. Now they are at Issei's old house. Issei, weird, there's a link here, but why? Sirzechs, Issei, can you do me a favor and please be a median for the meeting, not to participate, but if it comes up ask to see if you can have a talk with Michael, the leader of the Angels faction. Issei, sure, shouldn't be too hard. He then covered his hands in scales and Milika's started laughing more and clapping and kicking in excitement seeing it. He then changed it and made some small changes like claws and tools, and he kept laughing and clapping. Issei seems he's battle crazy like both his parents. Sirzechs and Grafia were just shocked that he got him to laugh so much. Milika's then started coughing from the laughing and the Issei started to burp him and then he made a small burp and then he was laughing again. Riaz, you're too good with kids. Issei, I always wanted a little sibling when I was younger, so I guess it's natural. He then handed Milika's back to Grafia, and he started to yawn and go to sleep. Grafia, seems you tired him out a bit, thanks. Issei, then you guys can sleep tonight. Sirzechs, yeah. Issei, you were on diaper duty, weren't you? Sirzechs, yes. He had to hold back a laugh so as not to upset his master, but it was still funny. Issei, you'll be fine then. Venelana, Issei, how many grandkids do you plan to bring me one day on the topic of Bobbies? Issei, well, I always wanted a daughter, you know, daddy's little princess, but then I also wanted a son to not only carry on my family name but to have father-son time. Rias could only blush as he said this, which wasn't unnoticed by Venelana and Aquino. Venelana, so 2 kids. Issei, yeah, pretty much. Zeoticus, well, only time will tell, you could even end up having more than you planned. Twins and triplets are still a possibility. Issei, yeah, I need to work hard to support my future family to be ready for anything asterisk smiling asterisk. This is when Aquino saw the hope he brings and safety just being around him, and even she herself felt more at peace and even had more confidence in who she is. The feeling was amazing. They had dinner and then went off to bed. Issei was in bed already and was just looking at the notifications that he received from his old mother. They were missed calls to messages asking him to please call her, and how she was sorry and how she wanted to make it right, but he wasn't having any of it. Rias then came and sat next to him, and he looked at her and she saw the anger in his eyes. She took his phone and saw the messages and understood. She placed his phone down on her nightstand and came closer to him and held him. Rias, relax it over, she's just guilty because she only noticed how much she loves you after she forgot about you. It's all guilt. This will wear off after a while, and they will slowly stop contacting you. Issei, I know, it's just they are too predictable for their own good. I mean, what did I do back then to make them like this now? I still don't get it. Rias, I think things happen for a reason. Issei, they make us who we are, and they can even bring us together. She slowly started coming closer to him and took his hand. The same went for him. He was coming closer to her. They closed their eyes and gave each other a kiss, and when they pulled away, they rested their foreheads together and smiled a bit. Issei, thanks for that. Rias, Aquino smiling, oh, am I interrupting something? They looked at her and Issei was confused. She was in a gown clearly underneath it. Issei, if this was told me, he would be over the moon having 2 girls in his room. But what's wrong, Aquino? Why are you here, if you don't mind me asking? Rias, she sometimes spends a few days here in the underworld with me, and we normally share a bed. Issei, oh, I can go if you want. Aquino, no, if it's all right with you, I don't mind sharing the bed, it is big enough. Issei, Rias, I'm fine with it, but you on my end, and I'll be in the middle. Aquino, oh, don't be like that, I'm not going to do anything to him. Rias just squinted at her and she smiled and then looked at Issei, who just shrugged his shoulders. Rias, fine, Issei can be in the middle. He laid down and then both girls laid next to him. Issei just had a goofy smile on his face and Rias looked at him a bit irritated. Rias, why are you making that face? Issei, think about it, I'm a guy that's in bed with 2 super hot girls and I have a date with one and her best friend is just a bonus for me at this point. He closed his eyes, put his arms behind his head, and fell asleep. Both just looked at each other and couldn't believe he just said that and fell asleep like it was nothing. The 2 of them just had a bit of a laugh, then Rias just cuddled up to him and Aquino got comfy and the 2 of them slowly fell asleep. A few days later, relaxing a bit and training, enjoying the midterm break, one morning Issei woke up, and the 2 girls were technically warped around his waist. He was trapped in the bed with them. He was starting to question his sleeping attire given it was just sports shorts. And he was shirtless. He could see Rias was in her very much see-through nightgown and Aquino on his other side was in a gown. And he could clearly see even more now that she was naked underneath it. Issei, any other day this would have been bliss, but I need to get done for the day. I have things to do while they don't besides that meeting. His phone started buzzing and he saw it was a video call from his grandmother. He had to bite his tongue knowing the promise he made about not answering a call from her. He swallowed his pride and answered the call, and it was a video call and he saw his granny smiling at him. She noticed his hair was a bit different and he was looking more handsome than the last time she had seen him. Granny, oh my goodness, look at you, look stunning, my child. Issei, thanks Granny asterisk smiling. I've been working out a bit and then worked on changing some things up. That reminds me I need to tell you something. Granny, oh, is it good news? Tell me, is she pretty? Issei, words can't describe her, but that's not what I want to tell you. Granny, what that you had enough courage to leave the house and start anew. Issei, wait, how do you know? Granny, well, Mickey called crying last night and said she can't believe this happened. And when I asked when last did, she said she loves you. She went quiet, so did your father. Neither of them said anything for a good while. And then they put down, and that was the end of last night's call. And then I decided to call you now to see how you're doing. Apparently I missed quite a bit leaving home, and then still getting a girlfriend on top of it. Issei, well, as much as I want her as my girlfriend, we haven't been on our first date yet, and I think I'll answer that question then for you. Granny, oh, that's so nice. When can I meet her? Issei, soon I think, but also, I'm surprised you're not disappointed in me for just leaving. Thought you would have some sort of anger towards me for just leaving the family you know as the family head. Granny, oh, I'm not. After our last call, I had a feeling something happened, and then the thought that you were possibility going to run away, then finding out that I just thought that you were at least safe. Issei, that was sorted that same night I left. You see, the girl I'm going out with, her mother took a liking to me a lot, and she adopted me into her maiden name, so now I'm a Bale. He had a sweat drop, and his granny just smiled a bit more. Granny, I'm proud of you, my little Newt. Issei, hee hee, you praise me too much, Granny, and it's been a while since I was called Newt. Granny, I can imagine, but please, when it is official, please send me a picture of her. I want to see what my future granddaughter-in-law will look like. He felt a hand on his shoulder and saw Riaz awake, and she came into the picture and smiled and waved at her. Riaz, smiling, hi Granny, Hyoudou, it's nice to meet you. I'm Riaz Gremory. Granny, I'm speechless. Issei, but you just spoke. Granny, oh, you know what, Newt, she's really stunning, but if she isn't your girlfriend, how come she's in bed with you? Riaz, well, there are not many rooms in the house, so he shares a room with me, and we agreed to share a bed, but nothing has happened yet. Granny, oh, that's nice. Now who is the other girl? Issei, confused, huh? He looked to his side and saw Akino resting her head on his shoulder now as well. Akino, oh, I'm just a friend. I spent the night here, asterisk smiling. My name is Akino Himejima, if you curious. Granny, happy, it's nice to meet you both young ladies, but Newt, you better not hurt either one of them if you aren't dating one of them. Issei, you know I wouldn't. Both girls smiled. Granny, as much as I am serious, did you see Irina yesterday? Issei, confused, who's that? Granny, my dear grandson, the girl with brown hair that was at your house yesterday. Irina Hyoudou, your best childhood friend, the person you used to spend almost all your time with before she moved away. Issei, wait, but Hyoudou was a boy, oh no. Both Riaz and Akino had concerned faces, knowing what Irina was now. Granny, yes, you should at least go say hi to her for my sake, but I can't believe you forgot about her. Issei, how didn't I realize? Granny, I'm not sure, but apologize, and when I call you again, I want to at least know that Riaz is your girlfriend, understood? Issei, yes, Granny. Granny, bye my little Newt, I love you. Issei, I love you too, Granny asterisk smiling asterisk. She waved to the girls and put down the call. Issei, sweet you up, I need to bathroom. He quickly rolled over Riaz, giving her a kiss, then got out of bed and ran to the bathroom. Riaz, now I'm worried. Akino, same with me, but for different reasons. They looked at each other and showed the same level of concern for Issei. When he was finished in the bathroom, he went to Sirzechs and Grafia and found them slowly falling asleep. Issei, right guys, I know you just falling asleep, but give Milikas to me, go shower and eat something, then sleep, I'll tire him out for you. They didn't say anything and gave Milikas to Issei. When he saw Issei, he started clapping and giggling seeing Issei again. Issei sat with him and let Milikas see his dragon scales, and he couldn't stop giggling and playing with the scales. Issei then started changing it and making look different, and he got happy again. His laughter echoed throughout the house. Venelana and Zeoticus came around the corner and saw Issei playing with Milikas and making him laugh. They watched in content. Issei, oh boy, you're going to be a strong one, aren't you? Asterisk smiling asterisk. Milikas, happy ga. He then pulled on Issei's hair and didn't want to let go. Issei, I need a haircut, huh? Riaz and Akino then stopped with the two adults and saw Issei and Milikas. Issei, right, how short should I make my hair? Milikas, happy ga, laughs. Issei, are you sure it should be this short? Milika's asterisk laughing. Issei, alright, you're the boss now, then you hungry? Milika's waved his arms around in joy. Issei, let's see if your mommy put some bottles for you in the fridge. He got up with Milika's and walked to the kitchen, and Rias and Akino walked to go and help him. Venelana, let's go and see where Grafia and Sirzechs are. It doesn't take that long to shower. Zeoticus, I think I know what happened. They walked to the bathroom and found the two still clothed but asleep in the shower while the water was running. Venelana then turned off the water and made it cold, then let it run on them, waking them up. Sirzechs, tired mother, why? Venelana, because you're sleeping in the shower while Issei is tiring out your baby. Sirzechs, tired, fine. Grafia, tired, we will be out in a bit. Zeoticus, you better, but we going to go and steal your baby from Issei for a bit. They left Sirzechs and Grafia in the bathroom to actually get done, then found Issei still holding Milika's while Rias tried to take him while holding a bottle. Venelana, is everything all right? Rias, sad your grandchild likes his uncle more than his aunt. Issei, I'm sorry. He pulled her into a hug with his other arm and gave her a kiss on the side of her head. Venelana, it's all right, dear, let me see him then. She came to him and he came to Venelana, and then he started to calm down. Then she handed him to Rias and he was calm and took the bottle and started feeding on it. Rias, Issei, I'm the same, Akino, I believe he could be feeding off Issei's power, that's why he gets so hyper and energetic, but when he is taken from Issei then he clams down and he can go to others. Rias, but doesn't he need to only feed off Grafia and Sirzech's power? Zeoticus, well, that's how it is supposed to work, but remember Issei has some of your brother's power running through him because of the evil pieces Rias. Wouldn't that be a bad thing? He's latching onto that power instead of the source. Issei, you don't think they could be low on energy, which is why they are so tired in the morning. Venelana, when I had Sirzechs and Rias I was tired, sure, but not that tired. Issei, then dang kid's going to be a monster when he's older. Venelana, I know it's a long shot, but see if you can take him with you to school for a day. Issei, who, Rias or I? Venelana, both of you will look after him. I believe he could be draining his parents' magic levels, so Issei, you will hold on to him and Rias will assist you. Since Issei can boost his power, he won't run out of energy as quickly, and Issei's fatigue with one boost will only affect him later in the day after school. Issei, let's go talk to Sirzechs and Grafia about it first. I don't want to endanger the little guy. Milika is ga. He grabbed Issei's shirt and Ria's shirt and held them tight. Issei, what's up, buddy? Milika is laughing. Issei, all right, but your aunt also wants to hold you, so I'm going to do this. Issei picked Rias up, who was holding Milika's, and they both went to Sirzech's room and found both sleeping in each other's embrace. Issei, hey Sirzechs. Sirzechs, Issei, I'm going to take him with me for a few days. Maybe he's feeding off your power that is in me, so he should be alright, but is it alright if I take him with me to school? Sirzechs, half asleep, yeah, just don't let him get hurt. He fell asleep again and Grafia came closer to him and they slept contently. Venelana, well, there you have it, now be safe with my grandbaby. Issei, you know I will. Issei then grabbed the baby things that were got for him and then carried Milika's in the baby carrier that was strapped to his chest, and Rias held his bag. Rias, this is going to be an interesting day. Issei, I'll send a message to Sona to tell her to get the principal so we can discuss this with her. Rias, yeah, this is going to be a long day. Akino, please your daddy material, Issei, you have this sort. Akino stood with them and Issei teleported them to the overworld. Zeoticus, you know we could have looked after him, right? Venelana, I want Milika's to bring both Issei and Rias together, then they can bring us more grand bobbies, plus I believe that baby Milika's could still be draining them, and if he's feeding off Issei then it gives them a break, so then they can be parents for a change. Zeoticus, I love it when you like this. She smiled and the two of them went about their day. In the overworld, they arrived at the school and it was empty still. Issei took Ria's hand and then Akino walked in with them. The students that saw them were shocked beyond comprehension that Issei was carrying a baby and holding Ria's hand, and Akino was walking in with him. They started taking photos of them and sending them around. With the kendo girls, Murayama fell to her knees with tears in her eyes. Caddice, were you alright? What happened? She saw the picture of Issei carrying a baby and holding Ria's hand, and Akino was with them as well with a smile on her face. Girl, when did this even happen? Ria's didn't seem pregnant. Issei, Ria's and Akino made it to the student council where Sona and her peerage waited with the principal waiting for them. When she saw Issei and Ria's walk him, she was surprised. Principal, I thought it was a joke, but Miss Gremory, when did you give birth? You weren't showing any signs of being pregnant. Ria's, blushing, he's my brother's child. They needed a break. I think they missed out and 4 days worth of sleep and they passed out, so my mother asked Issei and I to look after him for a few days or two to let them recover. Principal, but the two of you are a couple, right? Ria's was about to say something when Issei spoke. Issei, yes, that is correct. Principal, Mr. Bale, now is it? How do you tie into this exactly? Issei, Ria's parents took me in a while ago and they gave me a family, so this is just me helping the family, plus Milika's likes me a lot. He doesn't even like going to his aunt. Ria's, that's right, he likes his uncle more. Milika's hot clapping asterisk. Principal, look, can you guarantee me this won't affect anyone else around you, including yourself in your studies, and won't cause any disruptions for anyone else? Issei, oh, if he's with me, he's happy and relatively quiet unless you speak to him, and if he's with Ria's, then he goes to sleep and is completely silent. Principal, right, we can give it a test run and I will inform the teachers that between the two of you for the next couple of days we'll have him around and it's all sorted. Issei, thanks so much, Sensei, and I see you did your hair. I hope he treats you well tonight, asterisk smiles. Principal, oh, you noticed, thank you, Mr. Bale, now then. The principal smiled and came closer to Milika's. He looked at her and smiled, then tapped her head. Principal, smiling, too cute, please don't let him get hurt on the grounds. Issei, oh, don't worry, he's safe with me. She left and left the devils all alone. Saji came to Issei, and Milika's started to laugh even more. Issei, oh, you so helping me at lunch, he seems to like dragons, look. Issei covered his arm with scales. As he did so, they made a slice sound as they hardened around his hand. And Milika's started laughing more and held onto the horns and scales on Issei's arm. Saji activated his gear and Milika's started laughing and getting more excited seeing Saji's powers. He even tried to grab one of the absorption lines wrapped around his arms. Saji, it reminds me of my little siblings when they were younger. Sona and the rest of the peerage came to see the baby and he was amazed by them and just waved at all of them and smiled. Sona, Ria's, how's his power output? Ria's, he's only a few days old. Tsubaki, then shouldn't he still be with Grafia or Sirzechs? It's dangerous to just take him. Issei, oh, he's feeding off Sirzechs' power that runs inside me from the evil pieces. I can maintain a better output for him to feed on and boost it and land up doubling it later on if I need. Plus, he sucked Grafia and Sirzechs dry in terms of power. They don't even have energy to walk or talk. Sona, that's new, it's never been done before, but I guess there's always a first for everything. Ria's, we also think that because Issei was looking after Grafia when she was still pregnant with him, he knows Issei's signature the best and is very comfortable with it. Bang! They all looked at the door and saw Kiba and Kaneko out of breath at the door. Kaneko, I wouldn't believe it if I didn't see it, it's Daddy Issei. Issei, now you saying it, I like that title. No, wait till I have kids of my own. Kaneko, fair. She came closer and gave Issei a hug. Kiba came and greeted him and everyone else and just looked at the baby strapped to Issei's chest as happy as could be. Issei, he's already battle crazy, show him a sword. Kiba pulled one out and Milika's just started giggling and laughing. Momo, as much as I love his laugh, it's so messed up too. Issei, imagine how we felt when he saw my dragon features come out and he was laughing as happy as can be. Kaneko, what does Drake say about this? Issei, the weirdo just keeps saying the same thing. Issei let a gem come out his hand while still holding Ria's hand and they heard Drake speak. Drake, protect the little one and those that hurt him, protect the little one and those that hurt him. Issei, yeah, he's busy with whatever that is. Well, I have band practice, I'll let him play an instrument or something. Ria's, nope, I'm coming with you. Issei, alright, let's go. They all left and Issei and Ria's went to the music room, surprising more people by walking with a baby. Sona, please, on behalf of Sirzechs, let's keep everything calm around the school. We can't have the Devil King child get hurt. Old hi. Issei and Riaz were still walking and holding hands going towards the music room. The other students looked surprised and even shocked to see them like this. They arrived at the music, and they were all looking at the photos of Issei and Riaz when they saw him. Kira, dude, what the heck when? Issei, when what? Kira, all this I know for a fact. Riaz wasn't pregnant. Riaz, that's right, I wasn't. He's my brother's child. Jin, but what about them? Why isn't he with them? Issei, they haven't slept for 4 days and collapsed, so they needed the break, so I'm helping out for a few days. Riaz, yeah, I'm here to help Issei and to help look after my nephew. Ruby, can I hold him? Issei, I'm sorry, I don't want to do that, and plus even now he doesn't even want to go to Riaz. Riaz tried to take him and he started crying that she was taking him away from Issei. Then she left him and he gripped both their shirts and held them. Issei, so yeah, this is only for a few days, maybe, we don't know yet. Natsu, so what's his name? Issei, say hello to Milika's Gremory. He let go of Issei and Riaz and waved at them. The rest of the girls all came closer to him, and Milika's pat all their heads. Kira, he's so sweet, but how are you going to play if you're handling him? Issei, like this, hey buddy. Milika's looked up at him. Issei, can you go to your aunt for a bit, please? Issei picked him up and then he went to Riaz, and he sat there in her arms. Issei, alright, let's do a few songs before school starts. They all nodded and walked towards the instruments, and then Issei turned to Riaz and pointed at his ears, and she nodded and cast a spell to protect Milika's ears. Riaz and Milika's watched in awe of Issei playing and singing most of the songs, and Milika's was clapping the most for them. Afterwards, Milika's was put back with Issei, and he got comfy again. Issei, alright, I have an idea we can do on the actual open day. I'll tell you guys later. I wanted a surprise for the rest. Riaz, I won't spoil the songs you've been working on. Kira, thank you. Then Issei and Riaz left the room. James, so I'm not the only one who thinks that they look like awesome parents. Kira, nope, I see it too. They are going to make great parents. Issei and Riaz walked through the halls and people were making way for them. They stopped by the stairs and Issei gave her a quick kiss and hug. She then kissed Milika's cheek, then went to class and left the bag with Issei, and Issei went to class ignoring the fact he and Riaz had a kiss in front of everyone, shocking them all. He got to class and the kendo girls were waiting for him with a few other people in the class. They watched him walk in and then sit by his seat and start playing with Milika's by his chest. Issei, what is it looking at me like? That won't help anyone, so talk. Cadace, we just don't know how this all happened. Issei, oh, this is my nephew Milika's Gremory. Murayama, so Riaz is his aunt. Issei, that's right. Cadace, can we hold him? Issei, nope, he cries when he is even given to Riaz, which is why he's with me. We want him as calm as we can get him. Milika's happy ga. Issei, but you can come and say hello. They all came to say hello, and he patted them all on the head and they smiled. Issei, hey Hyoudou, what's with those two? Issei, it's Bale now. I was adopted into another family, so it's Issei Bale, but with them, a lot of things actually. They all looked at the two reciting perverts and they had shadows over their eyes. Madohama, in shock, he kissed Riaz. They all were shocked and looked at him. Issei, what, you act like I did something illegal. James, dude, she's never gone on a date with any guy, and now you get to kiss her and be close to her. Issei, yeah, I live with her too, your point. Matsuda, you touched the most valuable thing in this school. No man has ever gotten close to her like you have. Issei, because I actually spoke to her like a human and not a servant like the rest of you have. Now look at me. All the guys felt a neuron activate in their heads and it hit them all, and some of them fell to their knees in realization. Alex, so you are telling me if I were to just have spoken to her like normal, she would have given me a chance. Issei, and you need to beat her brother and father in a fight, but then yeah, you're good then. They all sat down and the girls looked confused. Cadace, so are they all right, or was that too much information? Issei, they realized they could have done something a while ago and they didn't baby talk, isn't that right, Milika's? Milika's smiled and gripped his shirt again. Issei, so yay, I'm with Riaz and I have a new family. My life went up tenfold and helping with the baby is just a bonus because I can practice for when I have my own. He looked at Milika's and the girls all pictured him shirtless holding a baby in his arms in daddy mode, and they were married to him and life was good. They came out of their thoughts and then shook their heads, and some just went to sit down to think about what they just thought of. The teacher then walked in and came to Issei. Teacher, Mr. Bale, is everything alright? The principal told us about the situation and told us to either give you and Riaz some time to leave class if the little one needs to be handled. Issei, oh sweet, but now he's alright, isn't that right, buddy? Milika's happy, huh? The teacher smiled and started teaching, and not to his surprise, slowly increasing his body temp, Milika started to sleep and was quiet for the lessons of the morning. During lunch, he willingly went to Riaz because she had some food for him to eat, and Issei just sat across from them watching her and him. Bang! Kade's angry Issei. He turned to her and could see the anger on her face. Issei, yay. She tried to slap him, but he caught her hand mid-swing. Issei, use your words. I thought we had an understanding and agreement. Kades, I warned you that if we find a camera again, you're out of the kendo club. Issei, seriously? You seriously think I have time to do something stupid like that? Look at me, do you really think I put the camera there or even remotely have the time to even do it? Kades, can you just come with me, please? The whole cafeteria saw this and wondered why there was a camera. They all knew Issei definitely wasn't involved. And as Issei left, they saw Milika start to cry, but then both Saji and Kiba took Issei's spot before the other guys could come, and Milika started to calm down seeing them. Then the rest of Sona's peerage, including her with Akino, came to sit with her. With Issei, the walk was silent. Kaneko caught up with him. Issei, hey, what's up, kitty cat? Kaneko, I want to help. Issei, right, cool. She took his hand and they walked to the bathroom. Some of the girls were still covered with towels because the camera was looking at them and they didn't want to move much. Ruby, blushing, aren't you worried about him seeing us? Issei, eyes closed. Look, I normally see Riaz naked every day, so it's not like I'm seeing things I haven't already seen once upon a time. But look, I need to see, and out of respect for just walking in here, you can all take a strike at me, but I'm going to need to open my eyes. Kira, fine, you can open your eyes. They stayed silent, and Issei took the camera and started looking at the footage. Issei, first off, it wasn't recording, so you can breathe. He heard a few of the girls taking a sigh of relief. Issei, the two dumbasses that set this up had it recording, but they didn't realize they recorded them sleeves. Look. It showed Matsuda setting up the camera, and then the Motohama was already in the locker, and when he pressed the record button, the video ended. Issei handed the camera to Kaneko and then hit the locker hard enough to shake the room. It shocked the girls that he hit it that hard. He ripped the door off, and there were the two perverts in the locker with awkward smiles, and he had pissed expressions that even made the girls uncomfortable. Issei, serious, what did I say? Matsuda, please man, please, we didn't do anything bad. Issei, girls, would you rather take a strike at me for just walking in here or at these two who would have posted whatever they caught to the internet? Kade's taking a hit at them. Forgive me, Issei. Issei, it's fine now, enjoy, girls, or do you want me to stay to take them out when you're done? Murayama, please wait for us to finish beating them. Issei shrugged his shoulders, and then Kaneko came to sit on his lap. He started stroking her head, and she started purring softly. Only he could hear it. He watched as they grabbed the wooden swords to beat the two with. After a good 10 minutes, the two were beaten and bloodied. Then he and Kaneko got up and he dragged the two of them out of the changing room. Issei then took them to the principal and explained what happened and that he would send Sona to come help handle the situation. Kaneko put the camera on the table and then he and her left. He came back to the cafeteria and Milika saw him and put both his arms out for Issei to pick him up. As Issei did, he was more calm and relaxed. Ria sorted. Issei, they hid in the locker. Sona, where are they now? She took a bite of her food and looked at him. Issei, oh, they were beaten in the principal's office. I'm sorry, but she does require your assistance to make sure they are dealt with properly. Sona, it's no problem. She and Tsubaki both left to go sort the problem out. Issei, damn, I changed a lot. Akino, and I think it's a good thing too. Saji, hey bro, you look like a proper father holding him like that. Issei, I'll probably be worse with my own kids. He put his leg next to Ria's leg, and she started to blush and looked into his eyes. The rest of the day went on without problems. Milika's was sorted out when needed, and he didn't make much noise in the class unless they had a free, and he would go sit in Ria's class, and the teachers let him. The end of the day came, and they all sat in the Orc Club room, and Ria's and her peerage sat on the one side of the room, while the two members of the church known as Irina and Zenobia sat on the other end. Issei was watching from the desk on the other side of the room. He at Irina and he could see the resemblance, but then something else caught his attention. Kiba was almost shaking in frustration. He couldn't tell why. Riaz, so what brings you into my territory? Zenobia, you see we are looking for stolen pieces of the holy sword Excalibur. We have tracked down the rest of the pieces to this city, so all we ask in return is to not interfere with our work, and we will be out of your hair faster than you think. Issei, that's good and all, but why else are you here? I can see it in your partner's case. She has something else to say, isn't that right, Irina? Irina, yes, I want to talk to Issei alone, please. Riaz, so you're the childhood friend. Irina, I haven't seen him in a few years, and I really want to talk to him. Riaz looked at Issei and he nodded. Riaz, well, I don't see why not. Issei left the sleeping Milikas with Riaz and then went outside with Irina. They stood looking at the sunset and were silent for a few moments. Issei, hey. Irina, hey. Issei, so when did you come back? Irina, a few days ago. I wanted to come see you the minute I got back, but it just didn't happen because of work, and now I find out you're a devil. He could see the sadness in her eyes, and it felt awkward because Issei always saw her as a guy and not as a girl. Now she's actually a very beautiful girl. Issei, when a fallen tried to kill me and nearly succeeded in doing so, but then I activated my dragon abilities as a human, so I became a dragon, but it was too late, so I accepted my fate, and my power surge alerted the Devil King, and he saved me, and now here I am. Irina, oh, I see. I'm happy you are still alive, but I am upset that you are a devil. Issei, well, given that you are part of the church, I understand. Hey, can you tell me something? Irina, sure, what is it? Issei, why did you leave? I was so broken, even my parents stopped loving me. I always felt like I was to blame, and I still feel like that, so can you tell me why? He looked at her and she could see the sadness on his face. Irina, it was Dad's work. I followed in his footsteps in his line of work to be an exorcist, and I know we did kind of just leave. I remember Dad did just drop you off in a hurry, and then we left the same day without explanation. Issei, because all I remember was losing my best friend and family that day. Irina, don't you remember, do you? Issei, remember what? Irina, the kiss we had as kids. Issei, wait, we kissed. Irina, it was the day before we left. We took a nap in the garden and I took my chance. I won't lie, I kind of was saving myself for you all this time. Issei, didn't you have other boyfriends or go on dates? Irina, no, I started off by saving myself for you, but now it seems life has other plans for the two of us. Issei, well, I feel like an ass now. Irina, don't worry, I'm okay with it. I'm happy for you, and if I want to be Angle, need to stay pure to my heart even if it hurts me. Issei, still friends. It's the last thing that I think I can even remotely keep with you. Irian, why wouldn't we stay friends even though we are on opposite ends? Maybe we can fight together one day. Issei, well, let me when you leave so I can at least see you off when you leave. I'm not sure if I'm going to see you again. Irina, sure thing, asterisk smiling. Issei, cool, asterisk smiles. They gave each other a hug and came back into the room. Ria's everything okay? She showed some concern for Issei, but he brushed it off. Zenobia, then I suppose that is it. We will be going now. Then she got up and walked to Irina by the door. Kiba, wait. They turned around and looked at him. Kiba, I've been itching for a fight against a holy sword, so I challenge you to a sword fight. Riaz confused Kiba. Even Issei was confused, and something started showing for his current reaction to the swords. Zenobia, no, it's alright, let him have his challenge. They walked outside and Kiba stood with his swords drawn and Irina and Zenobia stood on the other side with their swords ready. Issei stood next to Riaz and spoke into her ear, which sent shockwaves through her body, having him so close to her. Issei, let him do as he wants for now. Say the word and I'll handle it the second you want it handled. Riaz, thank you. The three stood waiting for each other to make a move. Chapter ends. Life 7, Reality Bent Anger. The three swordsmen stood waiting to make a move. They all waited for a movement. They noticed a leaf falling in between them once it landed. They started their attack, and the clanking from their swords created sparks. They went for 5 minutes, continuing to parry each attack from each other. Zenobia and Irina looked at each other, and then tried to strike at the same time. Either way, this attack would hit Kiba, hurting him severely. Rhea saw this and touched Issei, and before the swords touched him, Issei was in between them in his half-dragon form. His mouth was completely split, and it freaked them out with his bloodlust and even dragon aura leaking, affecting those the closet to him. Issei mixed with Deidrag's voice, "Stand down all of you, it's over, you two go do your work, Kiba your king isn't impressed." They heard Milika's laughing and giggling in Rhea's arms in Issei's form. Once that was done, and they stood down, he started turning back to normal. "Zenobia, I didn't even see him come or his power surge, what type of devil is he?" "Irina, Issei, you're scary." He walked back to Rhea's and then took Milika's from her and covered his hands in scales. Milika's gripped his hand and was content with playing with his scales. "Rhea's, like Issei said, you can go do your work, we won't bother, and Kiba, I'm not impressed." They nodded and went on their way. Kiba fell to his knees and looked defeated. "Rhea's, Issei, we have some work that we need to handle, I'll see you later, okay?" "Issei, sure, be safe, you guys too." He hugged Rhea's, teleported back to the underworld with Milika's. When he arrived, he was met by Venelana and Zeoticus, both having some tea. "Issei, mother, father, we back." They looked at him and smiled. "Zeoticus, my boy, how was today?" "Issei, not so bad actually, look." He took out his phone and showed them a picture of him and Milika's wearing sunglasses and looking cool. They both have puppy eyes seeing how cute their grandchild is. "Venelana, I want this photo framed, do you have more?" "Issei, there is this one." It was one with Rhea's holding him, and he looked happy in the photo. Rhea's looked like she was glowing, then the rest was of the ones of the two of them walking around with him, looking like parents. "Venelana, this is too sweet for both of you." They saw Milika's yawn and slowly start to sleep. "Issei, the little guy has been laughing most of today, so I think I succeeded and got him tired enough. I think I'll get him washed up so when Grafia wakes up he's already sorted." With Sirzechs and Grafia, they both slowly woke up and looked at each other and smiled. They gave each other a kiss. "Sirzechs, that was a good nap, don't you think?" "Grafia, yes, I think we need it." They both looked at the cot and saw it was empty. "Sirzechs, wait." They got up and came running and found Venelana and Zeoticus still drinking their tea. Sirzechs panicked, "Mother, where is Milika's? He's not in his cot." Grafia panicked, "Where's my baby?" Venelana, first look at the time. They looked and they paled, realizing they slept through the whole day, and it was nearly nighttime again. Sirzechs panicked, "Mother, where is he?" "He's right here, dang, you guys only woke up now." They turned and saw him in Issei's arms and looked at them confused. They came to him and he giggled when his mother came to him. He placed both his hands on her face while laughing while she checked him. "Issei, relax, he was with me the whole day." "Sirzechs, but you went to school." "Issei, yeah, and?" "Grafia, he can't be away from us for so long he could get sick." "Issei, we kind of discovered something interesting." "Sirzechs, what?" "Issei, he can feed off the magic you placed inside the chess pieces you put in me, so technically he's been with Sirzechs the whole day, baby talk, isn't that right, buddy?" Milika started laughing and clapping. "Sirzechs, so I didn't dream of you asking me to take him with you today." Issei holding back a laugh, "Nope, that was real, check it out." He showed them the sunglasses photo and the photo of Rhea's and how people were taking pics of them while walking with him. Grafia gently took him and snuggled him, which led him to slowly start to fall asleep. "Issei, he's been bathed and fed, nothing happened to him. Rhea's and I were the only ones that held him, but I had to clean his hands a lot because he was giving wisdom to people." "Sirzechs, can you show me?" He showed a few pictures of how he was patting Sona's head, Tsubaki's head, and Akino's head, with a few of Sona's peerage as well. Sirzechs and Grafia pulled him into a hug. "Both thank you, Issei." "Issei, please, this was the easiest thing I've done in a while, but your kid might really be battle crazy though." When Kiba fought against the two members of the church that had their own swords with pieces of Excalibur in them and fought with them when I put a stop to it, he was super excited and happy to see it. They looked at him and then back at Issei. "Sirzechs, we will handle it, but thanks for giving us a breather." "Issei, it's no problem." Milika's happy go. "Issei, see, you would want to do it again." "Sirzechs, so what have you been doing for training?" "Issei, well, today I decided to hold a doll the same size as Milika's and actually fight while holding it. I need to work on that. If I'm protecting someone, they still going to get hurt." "Sirzechs, we can work on it tomorrow." "Issei, sure, I have no issues with that." They went to sit down and poured themselves some tea. Then Alana, Issei dear, do you know when Riaz is coming back? Issei, about that I don't actually. She said they have some work to handle tonight, and Riaz really wasn't impressed with Kiba. She kind of embarrassed her by taking on 2 members of the church and not really being stogner than them. That's how I saw it. He took a biscuit and ate it. Sirzechs, maybe a stray. They have been complaining about them showing up more, so maybe they are dealing with that. Mind going to go check on them and report back to me. Issei, anything else I should do? Sirzechs, you already know, help if needed, and if Azazel shows up then only you are talking to him. Issei, sure. Oh, he'll most probably sleep through the night, so you guys should be alright. He fell through a portal on the couch and was in the night sky. He fell for a bit and then opened his wings and flew to where he found them and found Akino helping Kaneko, who looked like she was hurt. He landed and they looked at him, then went back to what they were doing. He checked on Kaneko and saw she was a bit exposed and gave her his jacket and wrapped it around her. Both girls were happy to see him here, even if it was after the fight. Then as he walked towards Riaz, he could hear her going off at him. Riaz, what is going on? Talk to me. This isn't like you two at all. Kiba, you already know it's the whole reason I'm even a devil. I forgot what my purpose was, and seeing those swords only reminded me about it. He started walking away from her. Riaz, Kiba, get back here. He didn't listen and walked off. Issei just wrapped his arm around her and she looked at him with a shocked face, not realizing he was here. Issei, it's been a long day. I can help you figure it out tomorrow, but not right now. Riaz, okay. She walked to Kaneko and checked on her. Akino, she's fine. The acid didn't do much other than a few scratches that I was able to heal mostly. Issei, it's been a long day. Why don't we all just go to sleep? We can handle this all tomorrow. It's been a lonely day. They nodded and teleported to their homes. Issei reported back to Sirzechs and told him he was going to help them, and he was given the green light to do so. When he got back to the room, Riaz was already changed and under the blankets. Issei changed himself and then got into bed next to her and then pulled her closer to him. Issei, I'm not going to say anything. Vent it out. I'll listen. She took a deep breath and spoke. Riaz, I know why he's like this. When I turned him, he was on his deathbed and he gave up on life. I helped him recover, to help him get over this project that broke him and those around him. But I guess it wasn't enough. I tried my best, but it's never enough, not even with Kaneko and Akino. I know they still have their issues they don't want to open up about, and it makes it hard when I want to make sure they're okay, because if we are never on the same page then we get into more danger, and I just don't know what to do anymore. Nothing works. It makes me think I'm not cut out for this. Being a leader, Sona seems to have a better grasp than I do. I just can't anymore. Nothing I plan to do or want to do comes to light because the plan always lands up going south, and I need to think of a plan on the spot all the time. I'm just tired of it all tearing up. I just feel useless and unneeded. Not even my own nephew wants to really interact with me, and it hurts that I'm not even a second choice. He would rather go to mother or father than come to me unless I'm the only one around. She just started to quietly sob into his chest. Issei, how long have you been feeling like this? Riaz, crying a while, sniff. Issei, can I shed some light on things for you, or do you already know what you want to do to fix it? Riaz, crying, I do know, but I'll listen to know what you see. Issei, well, first off, I see a young woman that is too stressed out of her mind for her own good, trying to please everyone, and doesn't make much difference when she's needed to, no matter how hard she tries. And sure, you're going to feel like that with Kiba, Akino. And Kaneko, it's part of life. We have secrets that we keep from others, because even though when it's a problem we know we can fix, but when someone tells us how to fix it, it makes things worse in our minds than it already is. I told you to relax and only happy tears, remember. Things get tough every now and again. I can't say it's God holds head, making things difficult for us, but in the same context I can say for certain your relationship with them will be better with time. And when it comes to Milika's boys, normally stay away from the woman that will bear a boy. You know, boys fight for the spotlight when they're young. If Milika's was a girl, he would be more around you rather than me. And you're not useless, you matter to me. She tightened her hug around him and she calmed down. Issei, feeling better. Riaz, Issei, now give me a kiss, then let's sleep. Alright, tomorrow is a new day, new outcomes and new possibilities we can make. Alright. Riaz, yes, you're right. They gave each other a quick peck, then got comfy and got ready to sleep. Riaz, Issei. Issei, yes. Riaz, do you have secrets that you even keep from me? Issei, yes, and for good reason, but it's nothing that you need to be worried about. Riaz, okay, I trust you. Issei, I trust you too, which is why I think you may have some competition for me. Riaz, it better not be Akino. Issei no Murayama Drake pointed out she's trying her luck, and since it's the thing of holding my arm while we walk for safety, I can't really just pull away, can I? Ria's I'm fine with it, but I just heard you kissed her, it's over. Issei, trust me, you are winning, but if she kissed me, I'd walk away and tell you. No way I'm keeping secrets like that from you. Ria's, well, I have a secret about you. Issei, oh really, now is it bad? Ria's, well, depends on how you look at it. Issei, well, I suppose I have a secret about you as well. Ria's, Issei, They both chuckled and got comfy. Ria's, good night, Issei. Issei, good night, Ria, sleep well. Ria's, you too, I can't tell him I love him yet, it's too soon. Issei, I think I'll tell her I love her on our first date. I think that's good because right now we have other things taking priority. They both fell asleep, content being next to each other. The next morning, Issei went to check on Sirzechs and Grafia with Milikas and found them sleeping all soundly and looking more rested than they did before. He then went back to his room and woke Ria's up, and she gently woke up and got ready after breakfast. They teleported to school and just enjoyed the silence. They reached the main hall, gave each other a quick kiss, then went their separate ways. Issei went towards the kendo club and started training. The girls didn't say anything to him. He seemed to be deep in thought. Issei, something is off, don't you think? Drake, the redhead seems to feel it as well, something is off. Issei, when I'm done here, let's go and take a look at something. Drake, your lead. Issei did a double spin kick and sent the dummy into the wall, then he went to go and get changed. Kades, dang, that was impressive. Murayama, it is, but I wonder what's wrong. Kades, you think he and Ria's are having troubles already? Kira, doubt it, Ria's is also off this morning, I saw her, something is wrong, but they won't say. Issei then quickly left the gym, then went to go and find Saji. When he found him, he grabbed him. Issei pulled him aside and just started dragging him away. Saji, something wrong, man. Issei, I think I'm going crazy, something feels wrong, you're coming with me, and we are going to go and sort it out. Saji, I need to talk to Sona first, though I can't just leave yet. Issei, screw it, you're with me, understood, we leave during lunch, we not come back to school for the day. Saji, you sure, man? Issei, positive. Saji, alright then, I'm in. Issei, now don't give it away. He went to class and participated as much as he normally would, and once it was lunch, he and Saji just left, not saying a word to anyone, but someone saw them leave and followed them. They then sat down at a small cafe. Issei, right, we going to go and look for those two members of the church to help them help us. Saji, I knew you were crazy, but are you serious, you want us to get killed? Issei, look, we not going to get killed. Kiba is a friend and Ria's isn't going to be able to handle it if he dies, so are you in or out? Saji, I'm out, I'm sorry, man. He tried to walk away, but he stayed in one spot. He then tried to run more, but couldn't. When they both looked, they saw Kaneko standing behind the bush. Issei, hey kitty cat, come sit here. She came and sat on his lap, and she ate her ice cream. Issei, you want to help us? She nodded. Issei, all right then. He sent a message to Sirzechs informing him that he was going to help the members of the church get what they needed and then get Kiba back and handle the Azazel problem and get a meeting sorted. Sirzechs gave permission and told him to be careful. Issei, let's move. They started walking around the city looking for them. Saji, bro, you're bro, and I get you to want to help out Kiba and all, but we have been walking for the past 4 hours and you do know we bunked school at this point now, right? Sona is going to be pissed. Issei, you stress too much, you're a dragon and can't be held down. Dragons are creatures of freedom the second you let go, and don't worry as much about what Sona says and tell her exactly what you're doing. You'll start progressing. Sirzechs knows I'm capable and strong enough to fend off a lot at this point, but likes to know what's going on for safety. Saji, but honestly I keep feeling my phone buzz, and this was after I told Sona that I was with you. Issei, relax, she knows you with me and I have orders from Sirzechs, so she's going to be fine with it. Saji, if get punished I blame you. Issei, sure, do what you want. Kaneko, I think he's a dork. Issei, I think so too. Saji, hello, please help us and support the church. They saw both Irina and Zenobia begging for money on the street. Issei, wait, too easy. Saji, you mean 4 hours easy? Issei, we had a fun talk, now let's go and help them. They approached the girls and Issei lead them to a dinner where they could eat. 5 minutes later at a dinner. Both girls could be seen eating as fast as they could. Issei, geez, when last did you two eat? They stopped eating and looked up at him. Zenovia, a day ago with a full day and night's work and no food, it's bound to make one hungry. Saji, so the church really sent you here without money? No, they gave us money, it's just. Zenovia, she wasted it on a useless painting that wasn't blessed. Issei, seems the same. I remember when she and I had pocket money, we would put it together and buy sweets, but then she bought things I didn't like to eat or play with. Irina, light blush, hey, don't bring that stuff up. Issei chuckles, now that I look back on it, you haven't changed one bit. Zenovia, I still can't believe we took food from a devil. We have been bribed and tempted. Issei, I'm 90% dragon and 10% devil, you not doing anything wrong. They looked confused and then nodded. Issei, look, I want to make a deal. Irina, what's the deal? Issei, we help you get your job done and you let a friend of ours break one or two of the pieces. I know you can't lie, you don't know this friend very well, you know who it is, and in the end, you can tell them you didn't expect him to do so. Zenovia, but if we do that, it's still considered lying. Issei, it's not lying, we won't tell you when he's going to do it, and then you're both safe. They thought about it and agreed. Issei, all right, let's go and call him and tell him what's up. Later in the park, Kiba met up with them and he was told the plan. Kiba, I knew you were crazy, but that's stupid crazy. Issei, but it works. Kiba, all right, then let's do this. They went back to the two's hideout and then started to disguise themselves in safe church clothing. Issei, one way or another, Irina, you got me to dress like an altar boy. Irina, and like I said, it was fun. Issei, for you. They got angry and started butting heads. Saji, stop bickering and let's go and get tonight going, shall we? They nodded and went back to an abandoned house, and then they found who they were looking for. Issei, the hell are you? My name is Fried Selzen and I'm an exorcist. He grinned at them and slowly started to pull a blade out on them. Kiba got angry and started attacking him along with the other two girls. Issei, might as well get him, and watch out, he's holding a holy sword. Kaneko and Saji nodded, and then they started fighting. Saji used his absorption line and wrapped it around Fried's hand and pulled him back into an attack from Issei and Kaneko that hit him towards Kiba. He then set off his sword burst and created a wave of swords going towards him. Fried then jumped and dogged the attack. Issei then got fast enough to knock him back towards the wave of swords, but then he was smart enough to dodge and landed away from all of them. You shouldn't be so rash, Fried. Issei, who is it now? This is too many people that just happen to be here. He hit the ground, pushing everyone away from each other. Kiba, angry Valper. Issei, another enemy. He saw Kiba expression change to one of pure hatred and guilt. Valper, Fried, we are leaving, I have what I wanted, we can go now. Fried grinning, see you soon guys. They disappeared and Zenovia and Irina came running along just after they left. Zenovia, we need to move. Kiba, right. The three took off, leaving Issei, Kaneko and Saji behind. Issei then just sat down on a rock, taking in the night. Issei, well, that was eventful, wouldn't you say, man? The sky is so beautiful. Hey, Riaz and Sona. Riaz, oh yes, that is very correct. Issei felt the who had just showed up and brushed it off. He wasn't in trouble. Issei, what's up, Riaz? Sona, lovely evening, isn't it? Sona, serious, Saji. He paled and went to kneel before her, screaming apologies. Sona, first you bunk school and then I find you fighting with members of the church. Issei saw the look on Sona's face, and the way Saji said it was right and too accurate. Riaz, Kaneko, I'm disappointed in you. Whose idea was this? Issei, that would be me. Both kings turned back to him and looked at him, looking at the stars. Sona, mind telling us what this plan was? Issei, help Kiba get over himself and then help Zenovia and Irina get their jobs done so they can leave. Little did I know that Fried has all the other holy swords besides Irina's and Zenovia's, so while fighting the guy who messed up Kiba as child showed up and then they left. Riaz, that's not bad actually, and the fact you managed to get them to work with us. Issei, yeah, Sirzechs said if we can get a meeting with Michael that would be great, and don't take it out on them. I dragged him along, but it helped out nicely. Sona, Saji. He closed his eyes expecting a beating, but all he felt was a tap on the back. He looked up at her confused. Sona, well done Saji, you fought well, you impressed me. Riaz just looked at Kaneko and she looked sad. Riaz, why did you want to come along with them? Kaneko, I just wanted Kiba back, he's my friend too. She looked droopy and Riaz just patted her head. Riaz, it's alright. She brought her into a hug then, and she hugged back. Issei made sure Kaneko and Saji got back home safe, then went back to the underworld where he found Riaz deep in thought on the bed. He got changed and then sat next to her, which was what brought her out of her thoughts. Riaz, oh Issei, when did you get back? Issei, just now. What's going on? You look like something is bothering you. Riaz, something is bothering me and I don't like it. Issei, come on, talk to me. He sat back cross-legged and she sat on his lap cross-legged and wrapped her legs around him. They made eye contact. He first gave her a kiss, which made her smile. Riaz, I feel like something bad is going to happen. Having so many holy swords together is something that can be detrimental to both devils and fallen angles. Issei, then I'll handle it, babe. Riaz, that's what I'm worried about. I don't want you to get hurt. He leaned forward, putting her on her back. He held her hands above her head, and she looked at him confused. Riaz, blushing, what are you doing, Issei? Issei, having some fun. Don't deny you want this too. He kissed her neck, making her moan, and it increased her blush more. He went from her neck to her mouth, and they started to get hot and heavy, feeling every part of each other's bodies. Nog *, nog. Vanillana, dinner's ready. They pulled away and started blushing more. Issei hid his face in the crook of her neck. Riaz, blushing, mother, why? Issei, blushing, it's alright. Kisses her. We can continue that another time, I promise. Riaz, blushing, okay. They got up and then fixed their clothes. Issei was in shorts and a shirt while Riaz were in short shorts and one of his shirts. They then went to the table and the rest of the family was waiting for them. Sirzechs, about time you two. Issei sat down and Riaz on his right, and they didn't say anything but had slight blushes on their faces. Milikas just started laughing and clapping at them. He brought his tail out and let Milikas play with the scales on his tail. Grafia, so how have things been with you both? Issei, currently dealing with members of the church has been interesting. I've hardly lifted a finger recently, but other than my own training has been going well. Check the markings. Even D-Drag said that things have been looking good. Sirzechs, good. Now Riatan. She looked at her brother in horror and a huge, embarrassed blush was on her face. She couldn't believe that her brother called her that in front of Issei. Her parents with Grafia started to giggle a bit, and Issei watched with an amused look on his face. Zeoticus, holding back a laugh. Issei, please excuse Riatan from this look on her face. Issei had to hold back a laugh and pulled her into a side hug, and she just held him. Issei, well, nothing that interesting or eventful has happened recently, but I am worried about this now. Sirzechs, when Riaz was younger, she always used to follow me around saying Onii-chan, and how much she loves her Onii-chan. Riaz mumbles baka Onii-chan. Sirzechs, what was that, Riatan? Riaz, tearing up, flustered, embarrassed, baka Onii-chan. She then held Issei again, who chuckled at her actions. Vanillana, my, this is surprising. I never thought I would hear her say that again. Riaz, tearing up, why mother, why? Vanillana, well, I'm not sure if you have noticed since Issei's arrival in the house you've been more relaxed and even staying at home more and not living in the overworld. Riaz, what that supposed to mean? * sniff. Vanillana, Issei brought you home, and since he's your fiancé, no other man is going to fight against him because of who he is. Even your cousin was impressed by the feat of strength. Riaz plus Issei, huh? Zeoticus, that's right, the council saw him as a suitor for Riaz. Sirzechs, they investigated my handling of him to make sure I didn't make him do it, and since he did out of his own free will, they have confirmed the engagement. All that's left is to make it official. Issei, whoa, that's cool and all, but I don't think either of us is ready for that yet. Vanillana, do you love her? Silence from both. Neither of them wanted to admit what was already the truth. Riaz. Issei, yes, I love her. She's shown me more love than I can ask for in my whole life, and I'll never make her think otherwise. Riaz was shocked. She didn't expect him to say that he loved her only after making it official a few weeks ago. Vanillana, and your Riaz, do you love him too? Riaz, blushing, yes, he's shown me a different side of things and wants me to be myself and not someone I'm not. He's not only given me companionship, but a love that I haven't felt for anyone else before. He truly has my heart. She looked at him and smiled, and he smiled back. He took her hand and held it tight. Zeoticus, that's all we wanted to hear. Congratulations, but Issei will be taking the Gremory name when you get married, though. Issei, how come? Venelana, as much as you are a Bale, it's a formal name now. When you get married to Rias one day, they will make you a Gremory, given I am your mother. Zeoticus are your adopted parents, and since we need a king, what's a queen without a king? Issei, I see I have no problems with that, do you? Rias, no I don't. Venelana, good, because this upcoming summer I plan to drill you with all the demonology, so you know and understand how we all work. Issei, sure thing, mother. Sirzechs, now then, have you met Azazel again? Issei, no I haven't actually. I thought he would show up last night, given I was with some holy sword users, but he didn't. Sirzechs, well, tell him we have a meeting date and that we will be in contact with him soon about it. Issei, leave it to me. After a nice dinner and more jokes from both parties, they all decided to go to bed. Issei and Rias were just more comfortable than ever with each other, knowing that they love each other. They didn't say anything when they got into bed. Issei, so Riatan, what do you plan to do tomorrow? Rias, not funny, you lucky, I love you. Issei, I love you too, but for real though, what is the plan for tomorrow? Rias, well, we'll be seeing what we can do about Zenobia and Irina to help them finish their work. They got closer to each other and Issei wrapped his arms around her and she snuggled up to him. Issei, well, Sirzechs did give me permission to help with this matter and I intend to keep it going. We made some sort of progress. They got comfy and went asleep. The next morning when they woke up, they were given rings by Venelana and Zeoticus. Issei took Rias and got down on one knee. Issei, I know it's kind of fast, but Rias Gremory, will you marry me? She smiled and nodded and held her hand out and he put the ring on her finger, then she put his ring on his finger. Venelana, these are just formalities for now, you can get married when you are both ready. Issei, right mother. Rias, it's a beautiful ring, mine and his. Zeoticus, platinum, both of them are infused with magic so you can always find each other. Issei, works for me, can't have my wife here getting lost. She poked his side and pouted. Issei, alright fine, I can't be getting lost. Rias, better. Issei, alright, let's go. He teleported them back to the overworld, started walking to the school, and then saw something that didn't seem right. Issei, okay, I'm not seeing things, am I? Rias, nope, I see it too. They had a massive crowd around the entrance of the school holding signs of Issei and Rias, and they were happy, and then the other side and about them wasn't happy about it. As they walked closer, they walked hand in hand and stood in front of them. Issei, hey, what's going on? None of them responded and kept arguing with each other. Cadace, those idiots are back and they are protesting about you and Rias being in a relationship, and they got others that aren't happy about it. Issei, is that why Murayama is on that side? He pointed at her and they saw her holding a sign saying Issei should be with someone else. Cadace, sad, yes, she likes you a lot, but Rias was clearly winning, so I suppose this is her last try at getting you. Issei, well, sadly that's going to be even harder for her now. Cadace, how come? All the group stopped and saw Cadace talking with Rias and Issei not too far from them. Rias, well, my parents like Issei a lot, and since we love each other they got us engaged. They showed their rings and the group that was happy for them went wild while the others were shocked beyond comprehension. Murayama, it's over, I lost, I pushed him too far away. She ran away crying in her hands, which didn't go unnoticed by some people. Issei, yeah, so it's official now. They walked into the school, said bye to each other, and went about their days. Issei got to the music group and they all congratulated him and then started practicing. Rias was stopped by a lot of girls wanting to see her ring. They were amazed by how beautiful the platinum ring was with the red diamond in the center. Once she got to the club room, Aquino and Kaneko were waiting for her and gave her a hug. In class. Akia, Bale, did you really get engaged to the princess of the school? Issei, yeah, I did, look. He showed the ring on his finger. Cadace, I like how it's like Ria's ring. Issei, well, her parents went and got them for us, so I have no complaints, honestly. Issei looked at the two resident perverts and how they were in complete shock. One would think they died. It looked like they were hit in the nuts on top, experiencing a murder of their families. Issei, well, I'm happy. Murayama, can you come with me, please? They looked at her and saw how sad she was. She nodded and then walked with him once he was far enough. He looked at her and saw she was heartbroken. She looked like she had honestly lost all hope for life. Issei, why are you beating yourself up about this? You didn't come and talk to me, and when you started showing signs, it was too late for anything. Murayama, confused, what do you mean? Issei, if you liked me so much, why didn't you come and tell me? I was looking for love for so long, yet you didn't say anything or do anything. Murayama, tearing up, I was shy, I didn't want to mess it up, I was scared that you wouldn't like me back. Issei, it's too late now, I'm not breaking anything off with Rias, but you need to be strong because crying is not going to change a thing. She nodded, then he brought her into a hug and she hugged him back and let a few more tears run down her face. When he let go, they both went back to class, and after school, he went to the club room when he felt it, the feeling he felt before when Rainier first tried to kill him. He turned around and then saw a figure floating above the school. Issei kept his gaze on the fallen angel floating above him. He covered himself with scales and kept his gaze. He then heard running and heard both Rias with Akino Kaneko and Sona with her peerage. They stood around Issei and they could feel his aura starting to run wild. Issei, what do you want? His horns and teeth started growing. My name is Cockabeel, and from here on out I will start a war. I will take your heads as a gift. Even if it's only me, I will continue from where we left off. I'm going to show Sirzechs and Michael that we, the fallen angels, are the ultimate beings. Issei's wings started to grow, and then he took off, almost knocking back those standing around him, and flew in front of him ready to kill. Issei, you want a war? You need to go through me. Cockabeel made a light spear, and then Issei got ready to fight with a sword made of scales. They flew towards each other and clashing started between the two, creating shock waves around the school. Sona and her peerage saw what was going on and set a barrier to keep it all contained so no outside damage would occur or others wouldn't see it. Rias, all right, let's go and see what's going on, while Issei keeps him busy in the air. Right now it's for the best. I don't think we can handle a fallen general. Akino and Kaneko nodded. They went looking around the school and found that Valper and Fried were busy with a ritual in the middle of the school field with the other holy swords. As they came closer, they could feel the holy power rising higher and higher. Valper, oh look, we have guests, why don't you go and greet them for me, Fried? He started to grin as he looked at them and saw them coming to him. Fried, with pleasure. He pulled out a holy sword and then got ready to attack them. Rias and Akino pushed him back with their magic, and then Kaneko went for the hit. He pulled out another one and got ready to fight. With Issei, he knocked Cockabeel back and then gave him a spin kick, then boosted his power again, then hit him in the head, knocking out a few teeth. Issei grabbed him by his neck and tossed him towards the ground, followed by a kick in his back. Cockabeel, so this is the power of the Red Dragon Emperor. I can see why Azazel took an interest in you Longinus users. But let's see how your friends down there deal with this. He snapped his fingers and Issei watched as the ground Rias and the others started to crack, and a three-headed dog came out of the ground. It was huge. Issei Cerberus. Cockabeel, yes, the guardian of hell. Issei needed to make a choice to go protect his love and friends or handle Cockabeel. Just when he was about to go help them, he saw three people he was actually happy to see. While Cockabeel wasn't looking at the massive dog with a stupid grin on his face, Issei gave him an uppercut, making him lose his balance and have him focus on Issei. Down on the ground, Rias and Akino got ready to handle Cerberus, while Kaneko handled Fried the best she could. Just as the Cerberus was about to attack them, Kiba, Zenovia, and Irina came and then struck the dog back. They were in awe of how they came just in time to protect them when they needed it. Kiba, President, sorry for being late. Handle the dog, I want Fried. Zenovia and Irina nodded in agreement. Zenovia, let's end this once and for all. Irina, right. They nodded, and both Rias and Akino attacked the dog while Kiba and Fried started clashing again. Zenovia and Irina started to attack Valper, who had another Cerberus protecting him. Zenovia started to irritated and opened a small space next to her. Zenovia, come forth, Durandal. She pulled the massive sword out and then channeled the power to make a clean cut and cut the Cerberus in half. With Kiba, he was rapidly attacking Fried with all his strength and power he had. Kiba, angry, I'll end you. Fried, you can try, you failed experiment, but it's too late to change this outcome. He pushed Kiba back a few meters, then pulled out a small bottle. It had a soft blue glow, and they could feel the pure essence of holy magic leaking off of it. Fried, see this is the souls of your dead friends from that night we killed them. He tossed at Kiba's feet. He then picked it up with shaky hands and looked at the small bottle. He could only feel guilt coming from it since he lived and they didn't. He opened it, and the sprites all came out and started floating around him. They slowly started to become the past figures of the kids that they once were. Don't worry about us, live on, and make sure to never forget us, we don't blame you. Kiba, but nothing lives on for us as well as your master. They all touched him, and he could feel the power flowing through him. His sword started glowing, and then it started breaking itself and rebuilding itself with black and white bits, slowly becoming black and white. Those near him could feel the power flowing through the sword. It was both a devil and a holy object. Kiba, freed now to end you with my holy devil sword. The sword stopped glowing, and then he started to attack Freed with it when they all heard an explosion that shook the ground and cracked the barrier containing all of them. They looked at the sky and saw a massive explosion in the air. With Issei Hyoudou's breath. He placed his hands together, making a huge blaster, and shot Cockabeel, blasting him with such force that it was shaking the area around them. He followed it with a kick to the head, then to the back, then sent his sword through his side. Cockabeel, you hit good, brat, but even if my workers are taken out, I'll still end this whole place. He charged an attack and then cast it away from Issei. He looked and saw Riaz and Akino coming closer, then Cockabeel sent a massive attack towards them. Issei, get back. He managed to push them out of the way and take the hit dead on the grit of his teeth while the lighting was sparking around his body. He took a knee while smoking. Is it tired, you two all right? Both, yes, we're fine. Issei, I'm running out of ideas. I want to keep damage to a minimum, and I don't think my fire will do much for Sona to keep contained, but I need a minute. I'm past my current limit of boosts. Riaz, Akino, let's hold Cockabeel back a bit and give Issei a quick breather. She nodded and set off a massive lighting attack, and Cockabeel grabbed it and looked at it in his hands. Cockabeel, Barrakeel's lightning, it's been a while since I've seen it. I was wondering where she went. Issei looked confused and then saw anger on both Riaz and Akino's faces. He took a deep breath and set off a roar, and that blasted him back and took them all down. They could only feel unbelievable pressure coming from him alone. It even impressed Cockabeel. Issei, angry, I don't know what your deal is, but I won't let you upset my friends. His wings started to grow, and the heat coming from him started suffocating those closer to him. Cockabeel, chuckling, didn't she tell you about the disgusting half-breed she is? Issei, confused, what? Issei just sped up his attacks. He was getting faster that he started to become a red stream, but he was blasted back a distance into the school's gym away from the rest. All of them, Issei. Cockabeel, laughing, why fight like you is? Let the dragon lose, don't hold it back, brat. Let's see why you were chosen to have the boosted gear. I mean, it's part of the reason God is dead, and I want to fight it. It was like a bomb went off, killing millions. It was information none of them knew about. Riaz, confused, what, that can't be. Irina plus Zenobia, shocked, no, that's a lie. Cockabeel, it true, your seraphs and devil kings know God is dead. He was killed in the war before peace was made by the white and red dragons, causing complete chaos everywhere. He started laughing while they all processed the bomb drop. They then started to feel the pressure around them start to heighten worse than it was and become tense. They looked back and then saw large amounts of fire, and then they saw Issei stand. Issei, sadistic, RHHHHHH. He sped past all of them and then hit Cockabeel into the air, grabbed his wings together, and tore them clean off, shocking those watching him, then proceeded to break his arms. They watched as Issei got a green glow and started to heal Cockabeel, then beat him senseless again by ripping his arm and leg off. Then, as he was about to go for the kill, he froze and looked up into the sky, and the barrier shattered around them. A figure in white armor landed with blue wings, and a cool breeze followed them. Issei, angry, you. Issei's power skyrocketed and was breaking the ground around him. White Dragon Emperor, yes, it is I. I'm not here to fight with you yet, Red One, I'm here for him. He took Cockabeel away from Issei and then started to walk away. Issei, don't you dare walk away from me. White One, we will fight, just not today. Azazel says hello, Issei. He took off again, and Issei dropped the armor and took a knee and started panting heavenly. Riaz came to check on him. Riaz, are you okay? Issei, yeah, just need to catch up with my breath. The night ended with more questions than answers. The next day, Issei woke up a bit late, and Riaz was left a bit early because she had to deal with some club things for the morning. Issei walked to Sirzechs and sat in front of him. Sirzechs, I heard how you feel about meeting the White One. Issei, it was fine. What is getting me is that God is dead. Did D-Drag and the White One really kill him in the crossfire or something? Sirzechs, well, as much as he's dead, he wasn't killed like that. You see, back in the war, there was an evil creature called 666, better known as Trihexa. This beast took a lot out of him when he sealed it, and when he still fought in battle, he fell. Issei, then why would Cockable say the dragons did it when they only handled him at his weakest? Sirzechs, I'm not sure. Perhaps he wanted the girls of the church to turn on you. I'm not sure what his plan was, but thank you for handling it, Issei, well, besides that, how's things with the baby? Sirzechs, well, he's been better to handle, but we are taking a drain again. We might need you to take him for a day again. Issei, sure, just let me know when. Sirzechs, I shall, but it seems to be going smoothly with other work. Azazel made contact, and now we are waiting for Michael's response. Issei, well, hopefully things turn around. I need to leave for school. Sirzechs, oh, during your break, I want you to work on your dragon side. Riaz mentioned you were holding back from letting the dragon loose because of damage, so I have a teacher for you who can help in that regard. Issei, cool, tell them I accept and will learn. He left the underworld and found he landed in the orc club room. He looked around confused, seeing the others. Issei, confused, what the? I know I wanted to go down the street. Riaz, nope, my brother set it up so if we leave the house, then we come here first and foremost unless we go away from the school. Issei, oh. Zenobia, hello, Red Dragon Emperor. Irina, happy, hi, Is. He looked at them and it took a bit for it to settle in, then it clicked. Issei, what the? I thought you two left already. He came and gave her a hug and she hugged him, but when they let go, she took a few steps back with a smile on her face. Irina, well, about that. They both opened their new devil wings and then made them go away. Issei, hey, we match. He opened his own wings and 4 came out of his back, confusing all of them. Issei, what the? He started spinning in a circle to look at his wings, but after a few rotations, he stopped. Aquino, it looks like you're becoming more of a mid-class than you're letting off to be. Issei, cool, but I guess my fiancé made you 2 devils, huh? Kiba plus Zenobia plus Irina, shocked, huh, fiancé. Issei, oh yay, I guess you guys were out of the picture for a bit, but yay, it's official mostly. He showed off his ring and Riaz did hers. Irina grabbed his hand, jumping up and down in excitement for him. Issei, so are you too sure you are okay with this? Zenobia, well, since God is dead, our path has an end. Who were we praying to? Who were we following? Irina, yay, we were lost and Riaz gave us a place to stay. Issei, I see, so babe, what pieces did they get? Riaz, well, Zenobia is my other knight and Irina is my bishop. Issei, cool, welcome guys, and Kiba. Kiba, yay. Issei, don't piss off my fiancé again. He felt some anger in that statement. Kiba, hey, I've apologized and sworn my life to her again. Issei, good, now then let's go and get done for the day, yay. He made his way to the door when he heard Aquino's voice. Aquino, not so fast, we have cake. Issei, cake. The way he looked at her in seconds made the others giggle and chuckle at his actions. Issei, why cake? Riaz, to welcome new members to my family. Issei, I see, well then. He set his fingers alight and lit the candles, and they made the two feel welcome to the family. Chapter end.